How do we start the show again?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Welcome to the Man Hire Show. I'm Dad.
I'm Jack.
I'm Will.
And Mike.
And on board is Tommy. Welcome, Tom. Well, Tom's been on a show before. You were on the Fatima show, weren't you? So we have not had a show for
6 months.
6 months. Is it really?
Months, yeah.
And what happened was, in case anybody was wondering why we fell off the face of the earth, in early November, we have to go back a little bit farther than that. How we used to record the show is that we used to be in a closet in the house that we lived in. And it was a fairly large closet, but it was a closet. I mean, it was probably like a small bedroom. And then my parents ended up moving in with us, and they still live with us. But in order to rearrange where people slept, that closet had to become a bedroom. And with the bed in there, it was not possible to have the studio set up. And then we were looking for a new house together, and it took us 5 months to do that. But now we finally have a new house. It's got pretty much everything that we were looking for in a house. We got ample yard. We got plenty of room inside. Plenty of room for Grandma and Grandpa. And we are actually outside now recording on the deck. This is an experiment. So if you are hearing any type of background noises, it is most likely because of that. I'm certainly hearing Will firing up his torch with a cigar. Not a cigar. Reynolds & Reynolds, it's not a cigar. It really isn't. He's firing up the torch to light the citronella candle on the table. That's what it is.
Well, it's actually my cigar. So.
Oh, it's okay. There you go. It's Jack's cigar. That was just Will lighting it
and
up.
then we stopped talking.
So we're back, and the Man Hire Show is back, and we just took a hiatus, but we didn't really go away. And so this is our experiment, not even doing a reboot show, just doing the show again, outside on this beautiful deck with this beautiful, what are those fans called? Big ass fans, is that what they're called?
Yeah, probably.
I think that isn't that the name brand? Yeah. Tommy says yes. He says that is the name brand. So, all right. What do we got? What do we got tonight? So it's Sunday night when we're recording this, Sunday, May 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
We just finished dinner. It's about 8:30 Central Time. Getting dark outside. I can't hear any crickets. I can hear somebody mowing their lawn, though.
Yeah, I can't hear that too.
Yeah.
We'll wait for that, buddy.
Yeah.
Whoa, what was that?
That was Tommy doing the crickets.
Oh,
Nice.
oh, nice.
See, he knows.
Perfect.
He knows the boards and everything.
Perfect.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, it's pitch black. I don't know how he's mowing the lawn.
I don't know either. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Impressive, though.
So we were having some dinner, and you guys were having some really good conversation because
Yeah, about the Uncharted movie.
Uncharted movie. Is there an Uncharted movie?
Yeah, Uncharted the game. It's like PS3, PS4 game. Originally on PS3.
Well, Tommy, put Will up a little bit. There you go.
Good.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, great games. Some of the best of all time, in my opinion.
Is that
I
the
think a
one
lot
where
of
the guy's like buried up to his head in the sand? Or is
Yeah,
that
it's like Indiana Jones.
Okay.
It's like Indiana Jones or Tomb Raider, but
All right.
Nathan Drake, he's like going after pirate treasure and stuff.
Okay.
Some of the highest rated games, like story-wise, of all time, I'd say. I don't know, is that accurate?
Probably.
Yeah. Same Naughty Dog, same makers of The Last of Us.
That's the scary one, right?
Yeah, zombies, post-apocalyptic, kind of like The Road, if The Road was a video game.
Right. But what was the game that you guys would refuse to play by yourself at night because it was too scary?
Oh.
Was that Last of Us?
Maybe. I don't know.
Oh. There was one, I think it was Jack that said, like, or somebody would say, I don't want to play that alone at night because it really scares me.
Yeah. I beat that game I remember I beat that in two days, so I'm not sure if that was me.
Yeah, I don't know.
Was it 2 Days of Terror?
It could have been, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay. So, so finish up what you're talking about Uncharted.
Oh, yeah, Uncharted. It's, they're making a movie with, Tom Holland as Nathan Drake, which I think is an absolutely terrible casting choice.
Who, Tom Holland?
Tom Holland.
The Spider-Man
Yeah,
kid.
yeah. Let me show you. Mike, pull up what Nathan Drake looks like, the video game, and then show Dad.
Well, I'm sure he's. I mean, if it's going to be like an Indiana Jones,
Yeah.
it's kind of like Dwayne Johnson type of adventure guy. You're thinking, right?
Yeah, in a way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg was originally supposed to play
Okay.
him,
And that's
he
a decent
could've.
casting.
That would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what Nathan Drake looks like. And then that's
yeah.
Tom Holland as Nathan Drake.
Oh my gosh, that's
You can-
awful. Are you sure it's not That's not PDF?
No,
whatever?
it comes out like next month.
CG'd?
It comes out like next month.
That's awful.
Yeah.
Well, the original one. Who's the other one? Who's the Venom Tom?
Oh,
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy would have played a good one.
Better, yeah.
Don't
I
you
think
think?
so. I think better.
That
yeah.
picture I saw looked, good better.
Yeah. But now they're having Mark. Now pull up Sully, Mike, because having Mark Wahlberg play Sully, which
Oh, he's still in the movie, but he's not
because he aged out. So Sully's like the
Oh,
older,
gotcha.
like grandfather type
Yeah,
character.
no, he's 50. So
Yeah, but Sully looks like he's 65.
Well, this is a picture of Mark Wahlberg as Nathan Drake.
okay, well,
Which
he could
it's-
pull it off.
Yeah,
Better.
he
He
could
could.
pull it off.
Better. Not
And
perfect,
then-
but better.
He could pull it off. Who would you have
I have no clue.
Oh, and that's Mark Wahlberg as Sully.
with that mustache? That's not
Uh-huh.
real.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, but I don't. Yeah.
The CG one looks like Robin Williams. You know, after
Honestly, Robin Williams wouldn't have played a decent Sully.
he would have.
I think he could have.
I mean, he looks like Robin
Looks-wise.
Williams doing like P90X, like after doing 90 days of workout or something like that. But looks wise
I'm
for
trying
sure.
to think of who could play Nathan Drake.
Yeah, because they have to be young. Because
Yeah,
I'm
younger, like
I'm
below
stuck-
35.
yeah, I'm stuck in my generation of actors, so I can't think. Of
Bradley Cooper couldn't do it.
too old.
Dude, I don't know if the face is right.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think Cooper could have done it.
Who's the guy that played? What is this? Maybe Tom Cruise. Tommy says if Nathan Drake was an older. Okay, so this is my opinion.
First of all, Tommy, you can talk throughout the entire show.
Yeah, yeah. If you want to, you'll
Yeah,
probably pick up on
you'll get
someone's
picked
mic
up
a
on
little
someone's
bit.
mic a little bit. Yeah, so please talk. Don't worry about being a mime.
So the Mummy.
Brendan Fraser
Okay, so
Okay.
he could have played a good Nathan Drake, I think, at a younger age.
back in the day.
Back in the day.
Okay.
But they made a remake of The Mummy with Tom Cruise. And if you saw The Mummy,
Oh,
okay,
okay.
it was probably a terrible Mummy movie because I've never seen the original Mummy. But as an Uncharted movie, it was
It was
actually
good?
pretty solid. The whole
Okay.
time I was watching, I'm like, this is just Uncharted. And it was actually pretty good from an Uncharted standpoint. But maybe I'm wrong.
What about like Chris Pine, somebody like that? Too old?
Chris Pine.
Captain Kirk in the new.
Yeah,
No,
maybe.
I'm trying to
Maybe.
think who's kind of
'Cause-
like a.
So he's so the thing is the character more than the face. Because
So
Tom,
tell me about the
not
character.
Tom Holland. So Nathan Drake's like a scrapper. He's like a young Indiana Jones. He's kind of like
But he's like a professor and everything.
no, he's just like a treasure hunter. He's not a professor, but he's like
So he's more like a Mark Wahlberg street.
street
guy.
scrappy. Grew up in an orphanage.
Matt Damon, Goodwill Hunting type of kid.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
not as
But not a
damaged.
genius.
and not
Not
as
as damaged.
damaged.
Okay.
But he's not. He's like really upbeat,
Gotcha.
kind of, and like smirky. You know,
Okay.
kind of like Mike. Honestly, Mike, you could play.
Oh, Mike could
Nathan
have played
Drake.
it. Mike used to buff
a little
out.
older. Nathan, you
Yeah.
could play a decent.
He
Nathan
could put a
Drake.
mustache
There
on.
you go.
or something. Yeah.
Same kind of like quippy charm. You know,
Okay.
quippy sass.
Okay.
Like getting the crap beat out of him,
like
but it's making
Robert
jokes.
Downey Jr. type of quick wit, or is that too quick?
No, not like that smart. Just
Okay.
more like, like a backyard Boston kid that's getting the crap beat out of him in the alley, and he's making jokes and
Mark
trying
Wahlberg.
to stand up and fight. But doesn't sound Boston.
But
yeah.
it doesn't sound like it's
yeah,
Boston.
yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
But that's the problem is Mark Wahlberg always plays Mark Wahlberg.
He plays Mark Wahlberg.
So-
he plays a really good Mark Wahlberg
Yeah.
in every single movie.
Mhm.
So Mark Wahlberg playing the role of whatever the cast member is, right? What about Affleck? Too old?
Yeah, too old.
Yeah.
Too old.
Too big?
Yeah, because he's a leaner guy.
Oh, okay.
He's not
So
like
Cooper.
jacked.
Cooper could have played him.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, honestly, maybe. His face would have been a
Cooper's
little
like
off, but
6'2".
yeah, but Cooper's attitude is correct.
Yeah, and he's a good actor, so he could have.
Yeah,
Probably could have found a new.
yeah.
Could have found the character.
I know people that don't know who Bradley Cooper is.
Really?
My age. They're like, Bradley Cooper? Who's that? And I'm like, like Limitless, Atlantis Playbook, Rocket Raccoon. I'm like, Bradley Cooper?
Or the Stars
Star is
the new
Born,
one,
they're like, don't know who
directed
that
it.
is.
Hangover.
The
The Hangover series.
Yeah, and they're like,
Right.
I don't know who that is. And I'm like, what do you-
Interesting.
No clue.
Yeah.
Does
To be-
anybody watch movies anymore? Does your generation watch
Yeah.
movies?
Oh, yeah, a good amount, actually.
Okay.
Like a lot, I think.
Wow.
Right? I mean,
Yeah.
not like
With the whole Netflix and yeah.
It's pretty big. They watch crappy movies.
Yeah, but do you
And they
watch
think
like
crappy movies
Netflix
are
only
good.
movies, or do you watch like because Cooper?
That's a fair point. It might be.
Cooper
it might
isn't
be that.
in your what do you call it? The COVID.
The lexicon of Netflix.
What do you call it when you just binge? The COVID
Yeah.
binge. I don't know if he would have been in a COVID binge series at
No,
all. or
other
anything
than
like that.
yeah, other than Silver Linings Playbook, I think it's on Netflix or something
Will,
like that.
will we get delisted from because I just said the C word on YouTube?
Oh no, I think we're good now.
We're good.
I think they got rid of
We'll
that.
get a community strike.
I think they stopped doing that.
Okay.
I think it's just the pick thing at this point.
Are you allowed to say pick?
I think that's fine.
Okay.
Father Mark Coring says that.
He does.
We're okay.
I know. Yeah.
He's
still on.
He's still good.
Oh,
Yeah, he's
still on.
doing. He's
Yeah.
chugging.
All right. So no. Okay. So I can think of Cooper, and I don't think he would have been too old. Oh, I know who
Cooper would have been
good.
okay.
I know who would have been good.
Oh.
You ever see the movie The Age of Adeline
Yeah.
with Blake Lively?
Yeah. I thought the movie was trash. by
Okay,
the
I
way.
know you don't like the
Yeah,
movie,
go
and I
ahead.
know you thought, but the guy, his name's like Michael
He's kind of Hispanic, right?
Huisman. No, he's Dutch.
Dark hair?
He's Dutch. The beard, yeah. Like Michael Huisman is his name.
Mike, look it up.
Huis. Tommy's looking it up. Huisman,
He's
I
not looking
believe.
it up.
Hey, Tommy, what are you playing? You playing Candy Crush? That's Cooper.
Bradley yeah. Okay, let
See,
me look at his
Cooper could've
face
played
again.
him.
I think you would.
Let me look at it.
Who is it?
Let me look at it.
Michael.
Huisman.
Huisman?
Huis.
Yeah, I'm sticking with
Yeah.
Bradley Cooper to play good Nathan Drake. Actually, he might be the perfect cast.
Hold on, look at Huisman though, because Huisman's like 31, 32 in real life.
He's got to look. He's got to look hardcore American now.
Let me
Well, he
find,
does.
Let me find
I
a
mean,
good
no,
one.
he doesn't look like a dainty.
If it's who I think it is, I think he looks a little Hispanic or like like
no,
it's
he
like
does look
Southern.
Hispanic, but
Like
I'm
Colombian.
trying to find a
he
good
looks
one.
more like Gerard Butler.
Dark hair, like really dark hair.
Gerard Butler. No, like him. Here, look at him. I think you could have played him.
Yeah.
And he's pretty jacked.
I'm trying to find a good
not who
picture
I
with
was
him with
thinking.
Did you
shorter
ever see
hair.
the movie 222?
No.
It's about this kind of
No.
like time. No, it's not your time travel. It's kind of like a 222. These things keep happening, and he was the lead character, and he
No.
could like
Is it good?
see how. It's not worth watching even once, but he was in it, and
Yeah,
he's,
maybe.
he does a
I
really
think Bradley
good job.
Cooper is honestly the best one
Yeah, Cooper might have been more fun, although
Yeah.
Michael Huisman's a good actor.
because he's got to be fun. He's got to be like a real fun, upbeat, kind of scrappy
then,
guy.
then
Cooper.
Cooper could have.
Cooper should
He
have
would have
been it.
voiced it
Yeah.
at least because
Yeah.
he's smart and witty without being MIT witty.
Yeah.
You know.
His performance in A-Team, I think, would have been perfect.
Yeah, like
actually.
as Faceman.
Yeah.
Faceman?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Bradley Cooper is
Yeah.
that's my final definitive choice.
Okay. Not Matthew McConaughey.
Nah, that would have been. Have you guys seen the meme, the Matthew McConaughey going out for Thanos? It's hilarious.
Yeah, I
haven't.
did see
It is
that.
so fun. I'll have to play it sometime for you guys. It is so funny.
Oh, you have it?
Look up Matthew McConaughey going out for Thanos. You might find it. I might have sent it to you on Instagram. It's
You did.
funny. It's quite funny, and I don't think we'll get banned because it's like some, I don't know, nobody making it. Maybe he's a
We're not
great
going to
guy.
get a violation.
No, it's not anything big. It's just like
Do
you
you
know.
want
Do
me
you
to
remember?
just play it for the?
Just
Yeah,
play,
yeah.
play it into your mic.
Go ahead. Do you remember
Yeah.
Vine?
If I can get it.
Do you ever hear of Vine? The app.
I'm
Oh,
ready when
yeah,
you.
it was like
I'm
6
ready when you
seconds.
are.
of-
Yeah. It's a new thing. TikTok.
Okay,
It's
yeah. I know
just some
TikTok.
TikTok
I know
thing.
TikTok.
I haven't
Go ahead.
seen it on TikTok, but it's some TikTok.
Ready
Go
when
ahead.
you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Dennis, here we go. All right, Avengers, here's the game plan. I'm going to destroy half this planet, whether you like it or not. Man, just with a snap of the old fingers. The thing is, I only got about 3 Infinity Stones, and I got to pump those numbers up. So me and my telekinetic pals, my MIGODs, man, the OGs. What's up, brother?
This is not Matthew
We're
McConaughey.
going
This is
to
another
show
different.
you all. Grab the stones, snap my fingers, and get our McConaughey's
That was
thing.
it.
That was
it.
awesome.
Honestly,
That was awesome.
not seeing the face of it,
It-
makes me believe it more.
It's more.
Yeah.
It's totally McConaughey. He even has
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was great. I thought it was hilarious. I kind
That's
of wanted to
awesome.
see that movie, actually.
There's a rumor that he's going to run for governor of Texas.
Really?
For those
I
who,
might vote. Is he,
for those who don't know the show,
what's
we
his
live
political leaning?
we live in Central Texas. I think that he would run a Democrat ticket.
That's what I would think, too.
He's a Longhorn, which
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily mean anything, but
He teaches at UT.
well, yeah.
I know. I just
yeah, I
didn't know if
think
you knew that. He teaches at UT.
I think so. I think he teaches.
He's like an actor, acting.
Yeah, I don't know if he's on
professor.
full time faculty or if he's just like guest faculty, but I do
He
believe.
teaches the whole course.
Well, I'm sure he teaches the whole course. I don't
Oh,
know
I
if
see
he's
what
like
you're
full time faculty, like he's on.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, but he might be. And if I was UT, I wouldn't mind having Matthew McConaughey because
Yeah.
he's an alum
Yeah.
and he does a lot for I think Longhorn football and stuff. So,
Interesting.
yeah, if you don't know the show, we live in Central Texas, but we're in Aggie Land in Texas. All right. So Matthew McConaughey is out. That was a good one. What cigar are you smoking? What cigar are you smoking, Jack?
It's good. Cuban.
What do you think he's smoking there, Will?
I have no clue, to be honest.
No clue at all.
No idea.
You think he just found that randomly in some favorite rapper?
it's probably here. I think. Hold on.
Oh, you grab his wrapper and take a look
Yeah.
at the ring. Yeah,
It's a Fuente, but I don't know what kind of Fuente.
it looks like it smells great.
Tastes pretty good.
It's a
Yeah.
Maduro Fuente.
Oh, the Medora, nice. So we're outside and it's dark, and our BA fan, while it works, the agent who sold us the house still has the remote control to the fan in his truck. And if you're listening to this, you know who you are. And we need that remote because otherwise we'd have the light on.
Yeah.
But because we don't have the light on right overhead of the podcast table, and because the citronella candles keep going out, St. Joseph candle's still blowing though. We've got like one spotlight here on the deck, and so I can barely see the color of the cigar. Although I can see your face quite well. Yeah. All right. So,
Yeah, we need to get like tiki torches.
yeah.
That's what I said. Yeah, Teak Torch would be cool.
Yeah, so leave a comment below if you can hear that annoying static in the background because we don't know what it is.
What we might try next time is prayer room area.
Yeah.
And keep everybody quiet for. I mean, the house doesn't get that loud.
No. The only thing is Grandma and Grandpop's room is we're an open mic for Grandma and Grandpop's room in the prayer room.
Yeah. It just depends
What
on how
about
loud
Mike and
they're-
Tommy's room?
Yeah, that might work.
Yeah.
We can fit
You'd be
it
squeezing
right.
a desk. You'd be squeezing the table. I'm not sure if we could have the sideway though. Unless we were to do it, we might be able to. Maybe.
Figure it out.
Well, I think we could do it in the dining room.
Yeah, we could do it just on the dining room table.
We could just do it in the dining room table and figure out how to attach the mics.
Yeah.
And do it at an hour where, because nobody's loud in there. We don't have any televisions on the first floor.
Nope.
There may be an echoing problem, but it'd be better than it is out here.
No.
Yeah, I was
it
going to
shouldn't
say,
be that
then this
bad.
constant ringing. I mean, I don't know
Yeah.
how many people are actually just stopped listening already because of
Yeah.
this annoying.
It is kind of
thing.
annoying.
Hopefully, what I can do in the Camtasia mix is wash out that frequency. But if I can't, we apologize. We apologize in advance.
That's what happens
Right.
when Hannah's not here.
Yeah, no. So Hannah's on her way
Yeah.
from North Texas. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
And but something happened
What happened?
while we were away. The last show was in November, and Will and Hannah
we
were
got
dating,
engaged.
and they got engaged. Tell us about it. What happened? What's the date? When did it happen? How did it happen? Tell the whole story.
This Christmas.
Christmas-
2020.
Christmas Day.
Yeah. Christmas 2020, Christmas Day. So I ordered the ring because the one I wanted was a peridot or peridot. I
Yeah.
don't know how to quite say it, but I didn't want
It's
diamond.
a green stone.
Yeah,
right?
I didn't want diamond because that seemed too cliche. And I wanted something special for Hannah. And she's a big nature person
Is
like
it
me. So I thought-
Peridot, your birth month of
yeah, a
August?
couple levels. So one, it's like a
Not month, birthstone of your
Yeah.
month of August.
Yeah.
Well, you and Hannah are both born in August, right?
5 days apart. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
And it's in the shape of like a flower almost, and then it's green. So I thought it'd be good, like nature
Yeah.
gardening thing. But I ordered it because they don't really sell any ones that I liked.
Right. From like Beijing.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it was a custom jeweler, but yeah.
So we're all. I mean, let's set the stage though, because we're all sitting around. We're
Yeah,
at,
that's
we're
what
at
I
the
was
old
gonna get
house
to. Yeah,
still.
you set the stage, go ahead.
All right, I'll set the stage.
Yeah.
We're all sitting around. Hannah's with us. We're sitting around the Christmas tree in the chairs. Everybody's there, right? Yeah. And we're all opening the presents.
I think literally everybody was there.
Yeah, everybody's
like,
there.
in the family, yeah.
Including Hannah.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
And then on Christmas Day,
I think this was one of those God moments where it just
like
timed so perfectly.
at 9:30, while we're opening the presents, the doorbell rings.
Yep.
And big props to FedEx, they deliver on Christmas Day.
Yeah, apparently.
And everybody goes, "Hey, Will, you got a package." And we're like, "What's this?" And then Will,
Luckily, though, Hannah's in her room. Like, she leaves for like 30 seconds
oh, you know why?
to go finish the ornaments.
Oh, it was to finish the ornaments?
Yeah, what did you think it was?
I thought it was to try on the Christmas present you got her.
No, that's later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we may have to modify the story because that would have been
No.
better.
So this is Christmas Eve. I'm remembering now. Christmas Eve is when the package comes.
No, it's
I do it
Christmas
Christmas Day because Joe and Abby were still here, and that was Christmas Eve.
No, it's Christmas Day. 'cause
No.
you were
Joe and
sitting-
Abby left before Christmas morning.
I know, but you got the package.
Because
on
remember
Christmas.
we opened all the presents in the afternoon on Christmas Eve because Joe and Abby were there, and then we did like the rest of
Oh,
the
I'm a
presents.
day off.
Yeah.
I'm a
I
day
still
off.
proposed on Christmas Day.
I'm a day off.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
We had Christmas on Christmas Eve.
Yes.
And that's what my brain
we had,
is.
we had 2 Christmases.
You're
pretty
right.
much,
You're
yeah.
right. Because Joe and Abby came down
Yes.
from North Texas.
Yeah.
And they had to leave before Christmas Day.
Yes.
All right. So I'm sorry. FedEx doesn't deliver necessarily on Christmas Day. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But we know they deliver on Christmas Eve, right? And so Will gets the package, and everybody again is like, "Will, package for you."
Yeah,
And
I
and
was
when
like,
it-
what could this possibly
Right
be?
when Will grabbed it and immediately stuck it like under his blanket, I knew
I
exactly
think I
what
put it
it
in
was.
my
But it
pants,
was maybe it
actually.
was that. I just thought
Well, you're
it
looking
magically
at it,
disappeared.
and I remember just your eyes popped out of your head. You're like, "I know what this is."
Yeah.
And whoosh, right? Like,
Yeah, and it magically
goes
disappeared.
into the.
and I was like,
into the
oh,
couch.
I had a very
'Cause I
strong
honestly
suspicion.
forgot.
But
Well, I knew it was coming at some point, but I kind of just forgot I ordered it. Like I knew I ordered it, but I
Right.
forgot it was coming.
I never knew you ordered it. But
Yeah,
I knew you
I
picked
didn't
one
want
out.
Getting back to Hannah, I don't think I even told Hannah. Oh no, I told Hannah I ordered it.
Oh, that's
Yeah, I did
That's-
because
yeah.
she was there when I ordered it.
Yeah,
interesting. Did she know what it looked like?
I think so because she,
Yeah.
she was.
but the Taiwanese
She pestered
sighting
you
is
quite about
different, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The sizing is.
Well, apparently, so it was made in New York, actually. But maybe. Oh, well, Hannah lost a lot of weight though because she went on
she had to go on the no carb.
no
diet.
carb diet. Yeah, low carb because of I don't know
stuff.
some intolerance or
Yeah.
her thyroid or something. But
Because she was supposed to have her treatment.
no,
No, but she
Wasn't
lost
that
the
like
weight.
the week after?
she lost
No,
the no different.
Oh, maybe
That
not.
was like February. She lost the
Oh.
weight
Oops.
because she had to stop eating carbs because carbs were causing her to bloat, as well as gluten. So she stopped eating pretty much all carbs except occasionally.
Yeah, she trimmed down.
Yeah, like a lot. So the ring was super loose on her, like a week after it came. But anyway,
So you're
Ring
sitting around
came-
the table.
yeah.
I'm sitting around the tree.
yeah, Hannah goes into her room to finish her ordinance that she made because she has been super busy with school. And
She made an ornament for each person in the family.
Yeah, based on
their saint, their
Yeah.
confirmation saint, their baptism saint,
So,
whoever it might be. Right?
Yeah. And so she's away for like 10 minutes maybe. And the package comes at the perfect time. I realize what it is, shove it under my blanket. Then I ended up putting it in Grandma and Grandpa's room. She doesn't know it came. The next day, I get her a ghillie suit for Christmas.
Yes.
And
A ghillie suit, for those who don't know what it is,
yeah, like a leaf suit, like a sniper would
Yeah.
hide in the woods with.
you're supposed to, basically, if you have this suit on and you're in the woods and you don't move, it cuts the outline of you out. So it's really hard to see somebody because it has the whole mask
Yeah,
and everything.
I'm
right?
surprised at how well it worked, by the way. 'Cause
Oh, it's amazing.
yeah, I saw it and I'm like, maybe this would work well, but it's kind of like a brighter green. But then we went and tested it. I mean, she just, like 5 feet from her, couldn't see her, invisible.
Oh yeah. So before we get to the big climax of the story with the ring, she went. I never saw somebody so excited about
Yeah.
that present.
She's been waiting for it for like 3
the
years.
ghillie
Since
suit.
Fortnite came out.
Oh yeah. So she goes, puts it on. She's got the pants, the top. She's got the hood, the head part on, and then we're like outside later, and she's just laying on the ground, like on her stomach, and I had my brain did not register that a human being was next to me. Like I didn't know she was there, and like, oh my gosh, I thought it was just like some pile of leaves or something. But then you went for a walk and you took pictures of her, and none of us could find her.
It was in the woods too.
Yeah,
so
in
it
the
was,
woods.
Yeah, it was
And
like
you
we
were
went for a
looking
walk in the
for it
woods,
as well.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
And she took her hat off, and in the picture you just see again no body, and Hannah's head is like just floating in the
It worked
trees.
surprisingly well.
So well, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're on the walk.
You want to click back. Yeah. Now push the button. Yeah. Careful though, because it is hot.
So you're on the walk.
Yeah. I just want to check everybody's cigar. Hold on. Let me try to fix it.
All right. So they decide to go on a walk under the ruse of, hey, let's go try your ghillie suit. Now it wasn't really a ruse because they were really trying the ghillie suit. And
Yeah, but just perfect timing. Well,
It
the
was.
thing is that I didn't know when it was coming because it gave like a very vague, like 3 weeks or something. I don't know. But I wanted to do it at the park anyway because me and Anna would always go there when we were stressed out and just sit on this one bench and talk with each other. That was like our little happy.
so you go down there
Happy place.
under with the ruse of let's try the suit out.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you're next to the special place.
And it just works out perfectly. Yeah, so we're sitting on the bench, and I was sweating, like stressing about how am I actually going to do this? Like, get her to not notice that I'm pulling a ring out of my pocket. So I turned behind. I'm like, look at that boar or something like that. Like, look at that giant pig back there. And she turns around and is like, what pig? And then I like super sneakily and smoothly, I don't know how I did it, but perfectly got down, on the knee and opened the ring. And she turned around like, what boar are you talking about?
So you're on one knee, ring out, and she's still wondering about the boar.
Yeah. Well, then she realizes what's going on,
Right.
freaks out. I'm shaking because I'm like, I mean, I know she's going to say yes, but it was just, a big moment.
Yeah.
But then afterwards, she's like, so was there actually a boar? And I'm like, no, that was all spur of the moment. Didn't know what to say.
That I missed the boar.
Yeah.
The ring distracted me.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it worked out really well.
Awesome. So they're engaged.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hopefully married next January.
next January.
It's
Okay.
like 2022 January.
Right.
We're going through wedding prep right now.
And a couple other really big things happened too, because Hannah now has some obligations, right? Easter Vigil.
Oh yeah, she's a Catholic now.
And Hannah
So,
came into the Catholic
full
Church.
Catholic. I was like,
Right.
is she? I mean, I was like, I don't know what's. Yeah, Catholic. Easter Vigil came into the church. That's really great. Went to RCIA, so that's big news.
Yeah.
That's
Fervor of a convert,
yes,
although she's still very low key on the outside.
yes.
Yeah.
Loves wearing the veil.
Yeah, she
Latin
does a
Mass,
good
her
job.
favorite.
That's a good veil in her.
Yeah, Mom got her that one for
Oh, did she?
as her gift.
Right.
Yeah, that's about it for me though. Big year for those two things. Happy for Hannah.
Yep. And then we had a couple more sacraments in the family with
Baby Joan and Leah.
got baptized,
and confirmed.
Confirmed, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, because they ended up getting baptized in the Maronite Church, which is part of the Catholic Church, but it's one of the 23. Am I right? 23 autonomous churches within the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
And Grandpop is a deacon in the Maronite Church, so they baptize and confirm at the same time.
Yeah.
And then Sophie was confirmed
Sophie was
the
confirmed.
regular old teenager
Roman,
way.
fashion way. Yeah.
The wait time. So, all right.
Good year for the Manhire family.
It was a good year for the Manhire
Yeah.
family. Yeah. We were sorry we couldn't do a show. It was stressful. I don't know about you guys, because you guys hit it really well, because you probably just were waiting for us to tell you where the house was going to be, but
I wasn't that stressed out,
Yeah?
to be honest.
That's why I
kinda
took a
just-
week off and left.
Really? I thought that was because of work.
Well, it was a lot of things, but also the lack of knowing if I still had a job and everything, if I had to quit, or it's all that.
So, what about you, Jack? Were you stressed?
Not really, no.
No.
Yeah, I just kind of had faith.
Did you know
it
that
would
we
be
were
okay.
looking for another house?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I did.
He completely zoned out. He totally. What about you, Tommy? Were you stressed out? A little bit.
What the thing was. And-
Yeah, Jack.
No, I was more
Yeah,
stressed
that's,
out.
that's the
The
computer.
computer
Oh,
was
okay.
because we were looking at houses 45, 50 minutes away, and I finally just gotten to the point in where we are now, where I finally set roots and
Yeah.
have a good
It's not that
social
bad for where we
area.
are. It's like,
So it wouldn't have been too bad to make necessarily the drive, but then
Yeah.
we would have been like isolated. So then
yeah.
then it was kind of like you're kind of in, kind of out.
Yeah, because
And,
originally the cattle ranch idea was pretty big.
Yeah, it was,
Yeah.
and that would have
Yeah.
been leaving a lot more of
Yeah.
the city and more going out to the thing, which would have just been a different like lifestyle.
And you've been working at the same place for a year.
Almost
And-
a
I
year
mean,
that's
and a
your first
quarter.
job, right?
And you're
Yeah.
and you're climbing the ladder there as
Yeah.
far as promotions. So again, the backstory on that, we looked, we did not leave a stone unturned. We looked everything from like an hour and a half away from the Bryan College Station area, which is where Texas A&M is, to right next door. So every variant, Will's right. There was a real, I won't go into the details with the people involved and stuff, but there was a real possibility that we were going to have like 90 acres and a calf cow cattle operation
And horse and
Would have been cool.
Would have been cool.
Yeah.
But it was really out of there, and just
Yeah.
getting back and forth to work and having
Having
the
no
same
good
friends,
internet,
and having no good internet.
Satellite internet, yeah.
Right. It would have been a different life.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it would have been.
I'm not going to broadcast our address, but we ended up with a decent amount of property. I'll say more property than would typically be in any type of suburban area, and yet our location is very centralized within Aggie land. Is that
Yeah.
Yeah,
good
that's a good
enough?
description.
The only part
Very
that
vague.
I'm disappointed about, and I'm not even that disappointed about it, because with the ammo prices nowadays,
Oh yeah,
I would have been burning ammo.
yeah,
It probably wouldn't have been a good idea, actually. To
yeah.
not be able to shoot guns on the property, but that's okay.
Yeah, with 80 something acres and some natural ravines, there were some natural shooting range areas on the cattle ranch idea, and we definitely have multiple acres. I'll put it that way. However, I think it would be in unneighborly
Yeah.
to probably fire
Yeah.
some stuff off here
I think so.
without a compressor.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
For sure.
Right. But still a possibility. Still a possibility. So, what's your favorite part about living here in this?
Clearing the woods. I
Clearing
love
the
the
woods.
woods.
Yeah.
I love being in the woods.
So tell everybody about the woods and what.
Yeah,
what
so we have
got. Don't give it numbers.
Yeah, we have a
but-
good amount of
Yeah.
area of wilderness, and it's just completely overgrown, like thistle and what is that? It's an Asian word. It's not tonkatsu because that's chicken, but
Kudzu.
kudzu. I was close enough.
The kudzu. Yeah, you were there.
Yeah, kudzu vines are just
At least a couple decades.
Yeah,
because they're
rampant.
thick.
rampant. It's like Tarzan vines
Yeah.
in there. It's crazy. So it's a lot of just chainsaw and just cutting through woods, but making paths and stuff. But it's really fun.
Yeah.
Hard work,
Yeah.
sharp work. With
A
all
lot
the,
of thorns.
So many thorns.
Yeah.
It's like walking through rose bushes at times.
Mm.
But it's a lot of fun.
Very
It's a lot of fun. I appreciate manual labor more now. Not from just that it's hard. I mean, I like that part of it, but clearing a forest without any power tools
Yeah.
would have been so much work
Oh yeah.
back in the day.
So, but, growing up, and for those who haven't listened to the show before, there's, I'm the father, and you're listening to some of the children on this podcast, but there are more. There are 9 kids, and we'd always say back in the day we would be rich having 9 kids. We have 7 boys.
Yeah.
And all pretty close in age and physically strong and able to do a lot of different things. And I said we would have been super wealthy, but of course in the 21st century, actually it's the opposite. So
Exactly.
it's
No
an
one wants
expense.
child labor.
It's an expense, not an asset.
Yeah,
Exactly.
It's a crime now.
I know, exactly.
Unfortunate.
But if you had 2 kids, let's
Mhm.
just say that only the boys were doing it. If you had 2 boys helping you clear your 500 acres, because you homesteaded somewhere in Arkansas or something like that,
Yeah.
versus the family that had 9 boys that was clearing it, it's just a matter of mathematics.
Yeah.
I mean, you could clear that land, and then by clearing it, you could use it for cattle, for planting, and you could produce off the land. You'd scale very,
Yeah.
very
You do
quickly.
3 times faster.
And you
give or
don't,
take.
and it wouldn't be additional labor costs
6. That's
Yeah.
not bad.
because
6. Yeah, whatever.
you wouldn't pay the child
Faster.
labor. Yeah. So actually, you're right. You're kind of seeing that here, because with the amount of people that we have in the house, there are a lot of jobs getting done quick
Yeah.
outside.
And even just cutting down a tree with a hand axe, that's
Yeah.
so much work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, before my dad, Grandpa, ended up getting us some power tools, like 4 really good power tools that we didn't have, that we can go portable with. And is that you, Tommy? So Tommy's voice doesn't pick up, but his farts pick up. That's
Yeah,
really weird.
They do.
And
Yeah.
that came all the way across the.
That,
compressor.
yeah.
It was at that right frequency. Sorry, Tom.
The perfect tune.
But yeah, but you ended up taking a tree down, Will, with the
A splitting axe, which obviously,
even a
yeah,
chopping
which is
axe.
a sharp sledgehammer.
yeah, but not that sharp.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
And then Grandpa ended up pushing the tree down,
Yeah.
which was actually pretty
It
impressive.
was impressive. What happened to his leg?
I know he's like Saint Lazarus with the dog licking his wound or something like that. Under
You don't know what happened?
I think what happened was they typically had these kind of storage boxes, not moving boxes, but ones that are always there at the foot of their bed.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And because their room actually is very similar in dimension to what it was before.
Oh, really?
It's just like 2 feet squatter, even though it's longer and they have more more total room.
Mhm.
When one night, as you come back from the bathroom in the dark, he misjudged where those things were and
Gotcha.
hit it with his shin and just went toppling over like onto the bed. But it got pretty messed up.
Oh, poor guy.
And then I think it like kept opening up because he was out here
Yeah,
sawing and cutting down.
I thought
kudzu.
he like cut himself with a pull saw. That would have been a lot cooler.
No, that would have been. Yeah, we got to come up with a better. We got to come up with a better story for sure.
Speaking of that, though,
And orphans were saved and stuff like
yeah,
that.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Cutting through trees and understanding the damage that chainsaws do
Yeah.
really makes me have a new, well, not appreciation, but
Respect.
horror. I guess I don't know,
Horror,
fear of like all those movies where there's a dude with a chainsaw.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't even.
We live in the state now.
I get afraid. Yeah, we do. I get afraid when I use that thing and it gets a little close to my body, and I'm like, oh man, if this slipped in one wrong angle, I am mincemeat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good. But they're cool. I do like chainsaws. It's fun.
What's your favorite part, Tommy? What's your favorite part about living here? Clearing out woods too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike
The woods stress me out in a way because I've always
Why?
thought of woods in like the
Kirkley.
Virginia sort of way, where it's a lot of like really big trees and there's a lot of space between the trees.
Yeah.
It's always really cool. You can even go off the path and just explore through the woods because I mean you could.
Yeah,
But here in
That
Texas,
was in
if you
Virginia. Yeah.
if you don't have a path, you cannot walk through the woods
It's
unless
so
you're army
dense.
crawling throughout the
no,
entire
It
woods.
gives
So
me a
dense.
new appreciation for Vietnam, and I
Yeah.
mean that literally.
Like being in the jungle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With
And
no
having to like
paths.
cut through with a machete. I could not imagine fighting full combat with fully automatic weapons
And
in that
big
kind of
gear,
terrain.
yeah. I also understand now when they're like it took them weeks to go through just a few miles. So
Yeah.
like what do you? Yeah.
I believe it.
And
It's
now
insane.
it does. Yeah. Well, all they had was hand tools. Even those they weren't really tools.
Yeah,
they
said
were machetes
They
and
said
their.
machetes.
and their
yeah.
weapons,
They didn't have chainsaw. I mean, maybe, but I don't think so.
I doubt they even had like hatchets and maybe some of them.
And then the skill of the Viet Cong for being able to navigate that stuff so well.
And dig tunnels.
Yeah,
That's amazing. Yeah.
it's amazing.
What about you, Jack?
Favorite part of the house?
Yeah. What favorite part of living here total? Besides having your own room.
That's
what I was gonna say.
That's on the list. The distance between here and Gold's Gym is awesome.
Yeah, that's right. It's real close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the chapel room's pretty nice. I like
Yeah.
the chapel room.
So we took the sunroom, although don't think of it as like a greenhouse type of sunroom. It's just
It was like a finished porch.
a finished porch. Yeah, we have a
Yeah.
deck that comes off it, but it's a finished porch off of the main house, and it's long, and
Yeah.
so we've set it up. It's all windows. It's
Mhm.
all windows, and it faces east, so it's really
Oh, does it really?
yeah, it faces due east.
That's extra
yeah,
cool.
Yeah, I know. So we got everything, all
Yeah.
the crosses and everything. We pray we're facing east and stuff. So, so we gather there for rosary or for divine mercy, or Mom and I pray like lauds in the morning. We go down and do it there, and it is really nice. Whereas before we would just kind of gather around where we would usually sit watching TV.
Yeah.
And there were many times where the crucifix would just be in front of the television.
Yep.
And just having this separate
It's nice,
area is
yeah.
kind of nice. I do agree.
One thing that really hasn't really set in for me yet, but I'm sure it will soon enough. It has intellectually, but not like I don't know, emotionally yet. Is that I'm never going to go back to Grandma and Grandpa's house.
I never thought of that.
Yeah,
You're absolutely right, but I never actually
because
thought
that's
about
such a like gushers and fruit by the foot, jumping
Right.
in the pool with the scuba gear. Like that was, or I mean the
Yeah,
snorkels and stuff.
I
That
thought about it, but
such a
maybe
childhood
I just
memory.
didn't go as much as, or I wasn't attached enough. Yeah, maybe that was a different age where I was than where you were. That I wasn't really
But
as big as a
so
thing
my
as it was
parents
for
lived
me.
in Florida, and they lived in the same house in Florida all of my children's lives, and so they sold that house,
Yeah.
and we live together now. And I was so wrapped up in, are they going to, the adult parts of,
yeah.
oh, is the closing going okay? And did you get your asking price? And then finding our new house and getting to the closing. I never actually thought about the sentimentality regarding the kind of loss of the house
Yeah.
and your memories there and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
I don't know. Does it affect you at all, Jack? You thought about it at all?
No, not that much.
Yeah.
But it was an awesome house.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of good memories there.
Yeah, for sure. No more seeing Hong Kong John and his in his short shorts. Making eggs.
So we're gonna drop that
Taking
one out of charity. Go forward. Yeah, I never thought about that.
Yeah, that is something that.
I remember feeling that way because the house that I spent a lot of time. We lived in a couple different houses growing up, but the one that I spent the most amount of my time in, kind of in my formative years in Virginia.
Hamden.
No, Herndon.
Herndon,
Very
that's
close.
it.
though.
Hamden was.
Hamden
not
was where
Connecticut.
we lived in Connecticut.
That's okay, yeah.
Outside of New Haven.
Yeah.
Yeah. In Herndon, my sophomore year of college, my parents sold the house and they moved to the house that they lived in
Yeah.
Florida. And I was at college, so I just came back to drive one of the cars to Florida.
Yeah.
And I remember just going in there and it was empty, and
Yeah.
all these memories of growing up
Yeah.
basically in a place, and going, wow, I'm never ever going to see this house again.
Yeah.
And I might never see this town again and all that
Yeah.
type of stuff. That can affect you.
Yeah,
can
so
affect you.
weirdly enough, I have not had that experience with any of the houses we lived
Like
in.
your house where you live in.
Yeah, I think we moved.
Because you move every 2 years.
Yeah.
Every 1.47
That it's just kind of been
years.
like, oh yeah, this is the new.
Yeah.
We're moving out of here pretty soon.
Yeah. Those lazy military guys, they only move every 3
Exactly.
years. They move police.
Yeah. But yeah, that next to Nana's house, Grandma and Grandpa's house, is probably the.
Because it was stable, probably. too.
Yeah, and it was always
Yeah,
going to the
that's true.
same place, same kind of stuff.
With your
happened
own
there.
house not being stable, there
Yeah.
was some stability in that. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. That's a good point.
Now, if Nana and Pop's house ever got sold,
That one, I
that'd
don't
be
know.
the
Yeah,
end.
yeah. That would be
I
bad.
might.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
There was like
that'd be
you'd
a
buy
big-
they're like the
I
vacation
might,
home that you can
honestly.
always.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'd have to like
It's like a
pull in as a
shrine.
family and get that. It's just something about that. That's the homiest house I've
is
ever
that-
been in.
It is a very
Of all-
warm
yeah.
house. Yeah.
Yeah.
Back to stability though, it's like the one vacation place you can
Yeah.
always go.
Especially for you,
Especially
because
for me.
you've been
I've
there
been
every year.
At
since
least
you were,
there
like,
once a year
9.
in the last 5 years.
And
Yeah.
again, without being too specific, they live on the west coast of Florida, very near the beach. That's all. I'll put it that way. Not on the water,
Yeah,
but
and
very near.
no
the
more
beach.
alligator park and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's true.
Tragic.
Yeah,
That would be rough.
there's a park right next to the house where literally alligators
Yeah.
are sunbathing on
Yep.
the.
And it was
grass.
commonly known as Alligator Park.
Yeah, that's not the name of the park, but we called it Alligator Park.
Yeah, I didn't know that wasn't the name until I.
That was our own made up
Yeah,
name.
yeah. No, if Aunt Mary doesn't end up keeping that,
I'm pretty
house,
sure they
that's-
are.
Yeah, I
It's
think
in,
she
like,
will
it's
too.
in the will. Or,
Yeah, but
being
I'm saying if
passed
she
down. But yeah,
ended up getting rid of it, I think I'd have to start a
Just buy it
GoFundMe or
yourself.
something.
Yeah, there you go.
It's just too. It's just the perfect house.
I wonder how much they could sell that for. Like
don't
the
know.
house itself, I feel
Probably
like
the
it
nicest
wouldn't.
house in that neighborhood.
Agreed,
Yeah.
but also considering it's in a very
Yeah.
populated, like a tourist
yeah,
area.
That's a good point.
Like its house itself, anywhere, I don't know if it'd make that much, but considering its location, because you could like bike to the beach if you really wanted to.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
could. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it's such a good house.
And I think the lot, because they ended up purchasing an
Yeah, the
additional,
second one,
that
yeah.
second lot. It's
Considering
one of
its
the
area.
largest
Oh, is
lots.
the one
yeah.
behind their house also their property?
No,
No,
but where the
the
pool
pool.
is.
Oh,
So see,
Their fence was
before-
right outside that door.
Before we got married,
Really?
yeah, you'd go out the pool door,
Yeah.
and there'd be a fence,
no way.
Like
and-
590, I think it was.
and there was an empty lot between them and the next house.
Really?
And so, technically, the church owned it. St. Patrick's owned it in the diocese of where they live.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it was like, no way you're ever going to buy it from the
Yeah,
Catholic Church.
yeah.
You're not going to let it go. But because they knew some people
Yeah.
at the diocese, they ended up splitting it with the neighbor, and so that gave them the room
Gotcha.
to build the pool and all that type of stuff.
So when you first started dating Mom,
Yeah.
the house not look like that at all. Did they do the
No.
garage renovation and stuff like
yeah,
that?
so the garage renovation was done,
Gotcha.
but outside of that door was just a fence, like an
Gotcha.
alley.
Because
Yeah.
when we were there last in August, me, Mike, and Sophie and Hannah, the we looked at like the old slideshow, like
Oh, yeah.
the old projectors that had each
Yep.
individual photos and
Yep,
they
yep.
turned of how the house used to look. Totally different. Like
Yeah.
complete when the fireplace used to not be there and it was all
Do you
sliding
know
glass doors. and
when that
stuff
sun
like
porch got put in? Because isn't that an addition as well?
That got put in after I started dating Mom, but you know how it's kind of a U, where you have the garage, the main
Yeah.
section, and then
New garage.
so you have the garage that's still a garage.
Oh, gotcha.
And you go in. Okay, so the house used to just be the TV room.
Yeah.
And the laundry room was in the garage.
Yeah.
And then it went off the kitchen, and then it would end, I believe, at the bathroom, that back
Really?
bathroom.
Okay.
And then
So Aunt Teresa's room.
yeah, that would be the end.
That's gotcha.
That would be that bathroom. And I have a feeling, I think that your mom's grandmother lived back there in that
She did,
room
yeah.
with that bathroom.
Yes.
And so then they converted the garage into a family room, made the laundry area a full laundry room, then added the boys' room,
Gotcha.
and that's why there's a separate AC unit back there.
That makes sense.
'Cause
That is helpful.
No, it's very
So,
helpful,
because-
especially because Papa and Nana keep it like at 82.
Literally.
Yeah.
there was times where I literally had a pack of ice on my neck
Yeah.
watching TV because it was so hot.
But that back room has its own window unit, and it's like nice. And then they added the new garage, and so I think it
Gotcha.
used to be a
It was like
U.
yeah, it did. It was an
you know
L
what-
type driveway.
You know,
yeah.
there's kind of like that side driveway.
Yeah.
Like
'Cause
our-
they're in
like
a
how ours
they're in a
is now?
quarter
Aunt
lot.
Mary kind of like,
like how ours is now.
yeah, exactly like ours is now. It used to
Yeah.
from the one side, one
Yeah.
street, you could drive all the way around, but then with that new addition,
Yeah.
it
cut it
broke-
off.
If
broke
it helps
that
to
up.
hear, they're in a corner lot, so it was connecting
Yeah.
two different streets.
That's true,
So
right.
it was a kind
We're
of like
giving
an L.
enough information that if somebody was a real sleuth, internet sleuth,
No, I don't think they
they,
can figure it
they
out.
might be able to figure it out.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I don't think.
Anywho,
Yeah, I
But-
don't think like the 27 subscribers care. So, or are we up to like
64.
64
65
subscribers?
maybe.
Wow.
66
Wow.
actually. If my memory serves me, I think it's 66.
Well, I got to look it up now.
how many people left us? Real question.
I don't know if
I don't
any.
think anybody left us because nobody actually listened to remember that.
So
Oh,
if you
I
actually
should
look at our views,
unsubscribe.
they've gotten better.
Really,
Yeah, our
What?
Mr. Ballant's at 1.7 thousand or something like that.
our Bigfoot one.
That's what I
is
mean.
Really,
Yeah, that one's at like 1.7.
1,000.
Yeah,
Really?
and then a couple like the warning ones all have 200 plus views.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
some of them haven't moved, but some of them have. I looked at it the other day.
So
sorry,
what's
yeah.
our what are we learning from this? You know, like what's hot as far as the topics?
Bigfoot and end of the world.
Bigfoot and
So like yeah, like fringe like rad trad Catholic stuff
Rad trad
and Bigfoot.
and Bigfoot.
Yeah. Speaking of next episode, let's do a New Mexico breakdown.
Oh yeah, we definitely have to do it.
Yeah.
We can do it in this episode.
We could.
You also never had the alien episode as
Yeah,
well.
Never-
but
yeah.
it'd be nice if we dedicated one to a little bit of a spooky spook with better mic quality, just in case that
Yeah.
this is a bunk. Like
Yeah.
I could see this one being a not upload if it's super bad.
Yeah, we'll do it, and then if it ends up being a not upload, nobody will know. Right? So then when
True.
I'm doing it, I can't find. How do I switch my account over to?
Just look up the Manhire Show on just the
But I
search
can't
bar.
get the stats.
Oh, you don't need it. I mean, you can just if you want to look at the stats, yeah,
I was looking at the stats. Okay, Manhire Show.
for nerds.
Manhire, yeah.
That's what Google says.
Stats for nerds, right? All right. Yeah. Oh yeah. The warning, illumination of conscience. Can I sort this by?
Yeah, views. You should be able
Yeah, I
to.
should be able to. Oh yeah, no. The Fatima one
Yeah.
did really well. Let's see, Fatima, the warning or the illumination of conscience, the Bigfoot growling sounds
Yeah.
actually did pretty well. And that was a clip from episode 4,
Yeah.
and that clip did better than the actual episode, the Bigfoot to Jesus one. Oh yeah, and then the missing 411 Bigfoot's definitely real is 1.5.
Wow.
1.5.
On a dry pad.
Thank you. And some of the clips. Oh, and did the Mr. Ballin story really happen?
Uh-huh.
That's up to almost 400 views.
Wow.
Yeah. So I know
Clickbait.
that these are not Mr.
That's the
Ballin
strategic
numbers.
clickbait.
Yeah, I was gonna say. But any of our discussion on politics
Trash.
totally tanked. Totally
For
tanked.
sure.
Yeah, we're in the one at the most. We're at like 176 views on that. So,
Gotcha. So yeah, we'll keep it to aliens and
Well, like
Catholicism.
the strange, dark, and mysterious.
Yeah, that's the way to go.
The strange, yeah, and even some of the clips from these shows, even though I clickbaited it a little bit, you know, by like Matt Fradd does by
Yeah.
saying, you know, Dairy Queen after an exorcism or something like that. You know, that they didn't do well. The full shows did better than the clips by an order of magnitude.
Oh,
Like instead of 20, it's like 216 for the full show and
Wow.
20 for the clip from that show
Wow.
that highlighted it what we talked about. So, all right, we're learning something. So stick with us, guys. I still don't know how many people have subscribed to the show.
It's like 66. I'd say.
67.
67. It went
See,
up.
it went up. As we're broadcasting, people are joining because they're hearing us and they're saying, "I want to be a part of. I want to be a part of this."
It's the best podcast on the internet. There you
There we
go, Tommy.
That's it.
That's
Tommy,
it
you got
right
that.
there.
You
You
You're
do.
down with that.
Yeah,
That's good memory.
you're good with the sounds. I wouldn't have. I don't even know what. I know this one's our theme song, and I don't know what any of those are.
Which we didn't play,
Oh.
but that's okay.
We did not.
But it's
play
it's
our
not the
theme
theme. Well, what I usually do. That's not the full theme
song.
song.
Oh, okay.
Because the theme song is
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right, yeah.
And I usually add that later.
Gotcha.
I'll have to show you how to do
Yeah,
that.
you
So
will.
Will's going to take over the editing
Yeah.
from me because it's going to get a lot better because of that too.
I hope so.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
Maybe more efficient.
Let's do a New Mexico breakdown because
Okay.
there's some spooky
I'm gonna go to
stuff
the
in there.
bathroom,
Yeah,
and
go
then
ahead.
we can do New Mexico.
I'll do a setup.
Yeah, go ahead.
So now we got the quick bathroom too, right there.
The woods? No, just
Well, we
kidding.
got that one too. Yeah, the behind the shed there. You gotta. Although talk about strange, dark, and mysterious. We also are on a decently large. I don't want to say river, but a canal. It's like a large creek. Let's put it that way. But it's a wide creek. It's not like a little trickling creek. And so you got your water moccasins, or what do you call them here in Texas? Cottonmouths, and some other critters. Although I haven't seen them in the yard yet, I have seen them down there
I haven't seen one
in the
yet.
creek. Oh, we saw one today and then last night. It's definitely a cottonmouth or a plain belly water snake. They tend to look like cottonmouths, and they make their head flat to try to look like a pit viper.
Okay.
But they're incredibly skittish, more skittish than turtles. They usually kind of come up, and they know you're close, and they just dive in the water. And where's Tommy going?
Same thing, probably.
Tommy, you don't have to go that deep, buddy. Just go behind the. You're gonna be the next missing 411 if you go to the bathroom there. Tommy's like running back like a whole acre into the dark, deep
Dark forest.
Yeah,
I can't
the dark.
see him anymore.
I can't see him at all. Into the deep forest part of the property. Yeah. Anyway, so we have some snakes and critters back there, but there's definitely a cottonmouth or a plain belly water snake that is resident right at the corner by the bridge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you'll see him, he kind of is in the same spot, and then he runs away as soon as he notices you're near. And when I mean
Presence.
near, I mean like you're 25 feet away.
Okay.
Yeah. So you got to keep an eye out for him.
Okay.
And he's so fast, I can't tell which one it is.
Gotcha.
All right. So the setup. So yeah, again, a lot of stuff's happened since we did the last show, and one of the things is, should I give the name? Is because I don't think it's secret.
No, that's not secret.
It's not secret, right? So
Yeah, it's public knowledge.
yeah, there's a monastery. There's yeah, it's not secret. So the
Yeah.
Clear Creek Monastery in Oklahoma, they're doing so well. It's a Benedictine monastery. Jack and I have been there, and
I want to go there soon, by the way.
okay, one of the few ones that aren't shut down, and one of the few traditional ones, obviously in the country, but a lot of them shut down for guests
Oh, really?
because of COVID.
That
So,
makes
but
sense.
they're still Clear Creek hasn't missed a beat. They say they haven't missed a day. So Clear Creek is doing so well with new vocations and new monks
Really?
that they are bursting at the seams. And what they're doing is literally having to buy little like tool sheds,
I have a question. Though.
like half of the size of that shed there,
yeah.
and put a window unit air conditioner in it,
Gotcha.
and that's the monk cell, but it's outside.
Wow.
What's your question?
In your experience, or at least in what you've seen, is there a resurgence in the monastic life for the younger generation right now, or not really?
Yeah,
Like compared to your generation?
yeah.
Because I was talking about that with somebody at work. I could see how with our generation there could be an appeal to talk about stability.
Yeah.
To a stable,
Can we-
non-crazy life.
Can we
Shelve that?
Can we shelve that
Yeah.
right after New Mexico? Get back to it. 'Cause
Yeah,
I think
sure.
it's really important,
Okay.
and I actually think it goes beyond the monastic life.
Okay.
And I think it's only certain elements of the monastic life. Like I have a lot to say about that.
Okay. Cool.
I have a lot to say about it. But Clear Creek's doing so well, and they've got a lot of vocations that they had the opportunity to take some of their monks from Oklahoma and start a priory. So just so that you know, a monastery that's completely self-sufficient is called an abbey, and it has an abbot
Yeah.
who's the father, the head. And if you are a monastery that's kind of relying on some support from another monastery, you're typically a priory. There are other names for it, but let's go with priory. And the prior is the head of that.
And he still reports to the abbot.
And he reports to the abbot. Okay. So they're trying to open a new priory in New Mexico, right outside of Gallup, New Mexico, in the Zuni Mountains.
Yeah.
The Zuni Mountains.
That's correct.
And I think they have like 100 acres or something like that.
Yeah,
reserved for the
after they
monks.
cut it off. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's 300 initially, and then they cut it down to.
Yeah. And so I won't go into the whole detail about why they're even developing up there, but the Zuni Mountains, there's no development up there. It's a national forest, first of all, and it's all national forest. It's people, there aren't stores or anything up there. You're going up on a mountain, and you're living in the forest. But what they're doing is there was a real estate development deal that went bust in 2008, and they're using the original plots that have electricity but no building on that to sell them off to people who just want to live next to the monks, literally live right next to the abbey, the priory rather, much the way that a lot of people tried to move to Clear Creek and be next to it because they wanted to kind of create the
community,
the Benedictine option type of thing. But this way, people could actually live and be in the monk community. And they only have a few lots left. And once they sell all the lots, then the way the contracts are written, the monks can get their 100 acres and they can start living there and do. I think I'm about 75% correct on the details, but
right.
Generally that's the deal. So we found out about this, and we've been looking for some bug out land. I'll be frank about it on the show. Just not knowing what's happening in the world, knowing what we've already talked about, given prophecies and apparitions, and what times we might be in, even though we don't know exact time frames and things like that. Thought it might be a good idea to have some land that's far away from people, but is self-sufficient, self-sustaining, and still, if you can, of course, have a community.
Yeah.
That's one of the most important things. Doing it on your own, you're most likely going to fail.
Yeah.
And so we went up there thinking, great, there's this community of about like 50 people. Yeah. And we went up there, met the guy, Jeremy.
Great guy.
Yeah. By the way, Jeremy is a great guy.
Yeah.
Fantastic individual, doing great things. Sorry, Will. Doing great things.
You're good.
Will has a sensitivity to sniffling, like sniffling. That really hurts his sorry, Will.
Every day.
Jeremy's great. Showed us around, showed us the lots, showed us, and getting involved and actually purchasing the land is easy. So we went up there. We kind of did a look-see. And, we've talked a lot about missing 411. We've talked about Bigfoot. We've talked about the national park. Mr. Ballin has a ton of shows about 411. And we felt like we were so in the middle of nowhere that
Prime Bigfoot territory.
Prime Bigfoot territory. Whether it be Bigfoot or whatever else is taking people, we felt like this was like he lives here. These people, these are the people that are taking people. They have to be, because there's nobody there. There's nobody there. It's beautiful, by the way.
Oh, gorgeous.
Gallup.
Trash.
Will has a very specific opinion. Yeah. But you go up in the Zuni Mountain and you're in a different world.
Yeah.
You're on a different planet.
100%. It's like a portal.
Do not base it on Gallup. No. And so we asked Jeremy, and I set it up so you can finish it up. We asked Jeremy about,
Yeah, we asked Jeremy if there is any like Bigfoot activity.
Yeah, kind of ha ha ha.
Yeah, as a joke. Yeah, just being the Bigfoot people we are. And he very seriously went, the natives that live up there are like, I mean, they don't want to be like advertising it because they don't want, tourist attraction and stuff like that, but they're 100% confident that there's something like that up here, and he lives over there, and we leave him alone, he leaves us alone. He's in the Zuni Mountains, and we were like, really? He's like, crazy, 100% confidence.
Huge number of Bigfoot
sightings,
Sasquatch.
yeah.
And the fact that they weren't trying to sell trinkets
Yeah.
or trying to get like extra people to come and visit because they're like, no, keep it quiet. Like, please don't tell anybody. Makes it more credible for me.
I agree.
Yeah. And so, yeah, Zuni Mountains, New Mexico.
Bigfoot hunting territory.
Bigfoot. Yeah. You will be hunted by Bigfoot.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
That's what I think,
Bigfoot
too.
hunting.
Yeah, that's right.
He's hunting you. Yeah.
And the one thing too about the Zuni Mountains is water is
super
hard
scarce.
to come by, really hard to come by. You're going to spend at least double what you would say in Texas to drill a well.
Yeah.
At least double. And that's, you got to get the people up the mountain and stuff, but it's just really hard to get water. And there aren't any big lakes or anything that are big water sources. Now there is plenty of water because we took we hiked like for 2 hours, 3 hours.
Something like that. Yeah.
Into we were on a trail, but the trail was very remote. No humans.
Yeah.
We
Not at
saw
all.
no
But
humans
you
at
still had to
all.
wear your mask.
We did.
Yeah.
There was a sign because it was during the Biden administration, and he had said all federal workplaces have to wear masks. And so as you're getting onto the trail from the trailhead, there's a sign that says you must, mandatory masking.
There's probably not one other person on this entire mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're talking about thousands of hectares of forest. And so we did not wear the mask.
No.
We did not wear a mask.
Yeah.
But we were hiking, and there were plenty of water sources that were naturally occurring, but there were also plenty of areas where we kept looking back after each other. Let me put it that way.
Yeah. Like, is he up on the mountains? Right
After the missing 411,
Yeah.
we're like, Will, you still back there?
Yeah,
Dad,
where's your
Dad,
boots?
you still
Yeah.
back there? Where's your boots? And then we realized, too, that we were in this canyon at one time, and Hannah goes, oh, yeah, we're like totally in the kill box for a mountain lion at this point.
Yeah.
Because they could be stalking us. I'm like, holy...
And we flew, so we had nothing but sticks.
Yeah, we flew there, so we had
Yeah.
no weapons. We had no way of defending ourselves. We
Yeah.
had hiking sticks.
Yeah,
that's
that's
all
it.
we
Yeah.
had. And they're hiking sticks that we just picked up from the ground. They weren't like, ones that had stuff in it or anything. We did not get attacked. I did find a large footprint.
Yeah,
You
did.
guys kind of pushed that
Yeah.
off a little bit, like that's not a big deal.
I don't think I did.
That was a big footprint. It was a large footprint. It
Yeah.
could have been human, but it was large compared to my foot.
Yeah.
I have a 9.5, 10 foot.
Yeah.
It was
It
large.
was large, yeah.
And then we moved on.
Yeah. Then we went home.
Then we ran
Because
home.
there was a snowstorm. Yeah.
There was a snowstorm coming, right?
No, that was really cool.
Yeah.
I would definitely live up in those mountains if Gallup wasn't the main town you had to go into. Because it was terrible.
Yeah. You are in the middle of you're in the middle of nowhere, and getting even to Gallup from Albuquerque, you're about 2 hours. Like those are the two places to go.
Yeah.
It's a very depressed area.
Yeah, if there wasn't for
Economically.
Walmart and Sonic, you might starve to death.
That's hilarious. Should we talk about that?
Yeah, go ahead.
You want to talk about it?
Yeah, sure. So when we first got there, we were like just arrived. We had to drive 2 hours from Albuquerque to get into Gallup, and we were starving, looking for food. And there's nothing in between Gallup and Albuquerque. I mean, there's like a gas station and a casino maybe, and then a bunch of trailer
You can
parks.
get some jerky maybe.
Yeah, District 9, jerky and tobacco. That's
And
about
District
it.
9, yeah.
Yeah.
District 9, like reservation
Yeah,
type of
like-
shacks, really.
Yeah, third world country.
Yeah.
So we get into Gallup and we're starving. We're trying to find some food. In the hotel, they were supposed to have it ready, but they needed another like an hour and a half or something like that just to get the room ready. And so we're out looking for food, and we find an Applebee's. We're like, oh yeah, Applebee's, it's
Yeah.
Applebee's. So we go to Applebee's, and there's literally one family in there. I mean, like one family
In the
of
whole
four,
restaurant.
whole restaurant. And so we're like, table for 3, please. And they're like, yeah, it'll be about like a 30-minute wait. I said, okay. I'm like, why a 30-minute wait? There's one other family in here. And they're like, well, some of our cooks didn't come in today, so we're trying to keep it light so that we don't overwork our cooks. We're like, are you really? Like, is this still America? Like, you don't want to take our money?
You
And-
like don't like hustle
Yeah.
and give it and get these people their food.
Can you go back there and help him cook? You know?
I'll help.
Yeah. And so we left there and we went across the street to
And we
Sizzlers.
thought
Yeah.
that's odd, but
Yeah.
it must just be that Applebee's.
Yeah, exactly. Went to Sizzlers, and they only took cash. And Sizzlers is a chain, so that was weird. Then we walked right next door to Denny's. And Denny's did the exact same thing. We walk in, and we're like, we just table for 3. There's like 2 other families in there. And they're like, it's going to be like a 15, 30-minute wait. Is that okay? And we're like, we're just going to ask, like, why is it that long? Like, well, one of our waitresses didn't come in, so we just don't want to overwork our waitress at the time. We're like, it's really? Like, that's...
Yeah. Just turning away people.
Yeah. Yeah, so we ended up eating at a Sonic.
And there were a couple other things that we couldn't get food at, so we ended up eating at the Sonic,
Yeah.
and they got the order wrong, at least for me.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just bad. And then it seemed to be all of New Mexico though, because we went to Albuquerque, and I called down to the at least just rudeness. Like they have don't care about good customer service. I called down to the desk, and it's an airport hotel, so it's right next to the airport. So you can get a shuttle, from the hotel to the airport in the morning. And I called down and was just asking about, there's a shuttle. I have a flight this time. How do I make sure I get on that shuttle? And she was like, sir, this is COVID. We're not doing shuttles. Like, in such an attitude. I'm like, oh.
Like, you're an idiot.
Okay, I'm sorry. She's like, you can get an Uber or something. And I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'll figure something out. But, yeah, they're really bad customer service there.
And so we asked Jeremy.
We asked.
Because we were thinking, I mean, we have some Native American ancestors, obviously, but we're pretty much white people.
Yeah.
And so we're wondering, and Gallup is a very large Native American population.
Almost the entire population.
Yeah. Okay. And so we're thinking, is it because are we being discriminated against? Is this what it feels like on the other side of discrimination? We had all these different theories.
Drug problem.
Is there a drug problem
Yeah.
and they can't get people to end up working here? Is there just a different work ethic than what you'd find different in the East Coast United States?
Subsidies from
Are
casinos.
they subsidized from other things that and we asked Jeremy, who lives there and has lived there for a number of years, and he goes, yeah, pretty much like all three.
Yeah.
He said there's about 250,000. I can't remember the tribe that was there.
either.
Yeah, but the nation. But they pretty much treat Gallup as their capital, even though it's not the capital of their nation. Kind of the way we treat New York City.
Mhm.
It's like a major place.
Yeah.
And so even if it's a longer drive to go to Gallup than to another town, they'll go to Gallup. And so that town stays alive with Native American dollars. And so and there's a different work ethic. And most of the people that have land, I think it's kind of District 9 shacks, they have the land or it was given to them generations ago. They probably have some welfare subsidies or some other types of subsidies. And their work ethic essentially, well, I'm out of money. I'm going to go get a job. And you work for 3 months and you go, okay, I have some money now. I'm going to quit my job. And then about 3 or 4 months later, you say, well, I'm out of money. I better go work again. So you don't have a stable workforce.
Yeah.
And because the I don't want to say the tourists, but the Native Americans who come there and do all their shopping there will keep it alive no matter what. They don't care about 3 white people that are just ticked off by customer service.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Yeah.
It was just very different experience.
It was very different.
Incredibly different experience.
Yeah.
So that was our Gallup experience. But yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. I would never want to go back. Other than the fact that the mountains were so awesome. Like, I would love to be up there every day. Gorgeous. Totally different world up there. Yeah, Gallup was just... I've never seen a place so gray. It's just so... There's so little, vegetation and just things going on. It's just... It doesn't hurt your eyes looking at it, but it almost, doesn't stimulate your mind enough. Yeah. Everything is just, if there's a city on Mars and it looked like District 9, that's what it would look like.
So picture Christ in the Desert Monastery, the way it's just kind of these canyons and the same color for the most part, but you don't have all the pretty differentiations of the colors or
the rocks and stuff.
Yeah, it's just flat like that.
Interesting.
That's
just
basically
tan.
Just
tan and brown. Yeah, it's really ugly.
It's different.
Yeah, I would not want to live there.
But even if it wasn't nice, I mean, I don't know I could ever get a meal there.
No, yeah. Like Walmart chicken nuggets, and that's about it.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, because we made it with a Walmart, and it's a nice Walmart. I mean, it's Walmart. They're all pretty much the same. And there was 2 registers open, and each register went half the store back in a line. I'm not kidding. Like it's a full size Walmart. They're pretty big, and we were sitting in the frozen section in line, waiting to get checked out. And there's other employees just walking around. 2 registers. Open.
Where it'd normally be like, hey, we need to open up register 3, register 4. Like,
no, we'll just wait it out. Don't want to stress out our employees.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because they might leave. I could see. This is their 3-month season.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want them to leave early. Hang on.
Walmart's closed in June, July, and August, and then it opens back up in October or September.
Right, it's like crabbing season, right? You got to make sure you do everything you can and keep your hands.
Yeah,
your crew are there.
That's funny.
It's also super diverse. You look one direction, it's flat plateaus, and look to the other direction, it's what kind of woods were they? They were
Yeah, they were like
The
mesas.
trees.
Oh, the trees were ponderosa pines.
ponderosa pine. Like it's a ponderosa pine forest, like something you see
Huge,
like the Rocky Mountains.
towering
Yeah.
trees.
But
yeah.
you look like a mile west, and it's just plateaus. Like it just keeps changing the topography. It's pretty cool. But the town's terrible. But the whole area is really cool, actually. Like naturally,
Yeah.
like geographically, yeah.
The state is very, what do you call it, pick?
Pick.
They're very pick friendly.
Yeah.
That they,
That's a good way to put it.
everybody gets the pick in the arm.
Yeah.
And everybody has to mask up and New Mexico is a we all pick here.
Yeah,
in New
we
Mexico.
pick. You
there
pick,
were
pick.
like the kind of
Billboards.
well, but it was like the road crew signs, that
Yeah.
they changed like
Yes.
merge left or
15 miles an hour here.
Yeah, close between this date and that date. The road will be closed, and they're just light signs,
Yeah.
And it said like New Mexico pickpicks.org
Yeah.
or pickpicknm.org. They use a different word, but I don't want to get banned from Google.
Yeah.
I have from YouTube, so
Yeah. Again.
yeah,
Yeah, you personally.
yeah.
Yeah.
The entire time I was laying on
That's
a
a different
beach
story.
in
That's
Florida.
That's Google Ads.
That's an old story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Google Ads.
Don't remind them.
Sorry.
Don't remind them. They may have forgotten about it.
Different person.
It's a different man hire.
Yeah.
When you guys are having your struggles in the mountains, I was on the beach.
Yeah.
and just
Yeah, you went
having
to
a
Well,
great
hey,
How was
I
that?
could have been on the beach.
No, it was
How was
quite
that?
fun.
Yeah.
It was fun.
There was we just got a big gust of wind that's moving things here on the deck. That was my cup. We'll get it later. So,
And now it's gone.
Mike,
Very populated. Like everywhere people are.
Well, because Florida's all like Texas right now, right? Where
Yeah,
kinda-
it is. They're a
super
little
open.
more, liberal,
Mhm.
but yeah, they're
Are they still
they're in between.
masking? In,
it's not state mandated, but it usually is like
True,
community
yeah.
mandated. Like everybody's like, oh, we have to do this, but you do have that select handful of people that just don't.
Gotcha. It seems like
And people
Texas-
say, hey, it's mandated, but if you go into a store and don't wear one, no one's gonna say.
That's how
anything.
it is here.
But everybody's wearing
No
one.
one cares.
But
it
it's-
seems.
I think people care, but they just silently judge you, and they don't care
In
to say
Texas
anything.
or
No, in
Florida?
Florida.
Oh,
They
yeah,
judge you. They
probably.
just don't care to say anything.
Yeah.
They won't actually like come up and tell you.
Well, I mean, it's also hard to fit your crack pipe in your mouth if you're wearing a mask.
Very true.
Yeah, or your bath salts or whatever Floridians.
But the funny
Floridians
thing
are
is
doing
that
now.
we were going into Publix, me and Pop, and it said like it's illegal to not wear a mask, even though it's very much not, because Florida's not a state mandated.
Interesting.
So me and Pop were like, no, we're just not gonna wear one.
Yeah.
If they say something, then like they just.
Yeah, have they,
They
not,
say
have
same.
they not been wearing masks since the beginning, pretty much?
No, yeah, not really.
Yeah,
They have been like when they get forced to, but they don't. No.
yeah. Yeah, that's what's nice about living in Texas. I mean, you have places like, where is that, Alberta, Canada?
oh yeah, Alberta, which is supposed to be the Texas of Canada.
Yeah. It's like, did you see that they have mandatory like checkpoints now?
Yes.
That's like Nazi Germany. So have you seen this?
No.
So Alberta, Canada, it's like the most like what did you call it?
Texas.
Like right leaning
Yeah,
place in Canada,
yeah. Okay.
at least
Yeah,
largely.
freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah, freedom friendly.
They have checkpoints now that if you're traveling on the road, think of like Nazi Germany, like papers, please. Papers.
Yeah.
I can't do German accents, but
Peppers, please.
yeah, there you go.
Not even please. Peppers.
Yeah, there you go.
Scum.
Yeah, there you go.
Rebel scum. That's a different one.
Almost similar theme.
Same uniforms.
concept.
Yeah, exactly.
Same
Same
uniforms.
uniforms. Equally as cool. So you're driving on the road, going on the highway or whatever, and they have police checkpoints, and they stop you. You have to give your address. You have to say who you are, where you're going, what your business is, and if it's not essential, you can get arrested.
Yeah, like, while
Or
you're
at least
out.
ticketed. Like you're just driving down the road, going to Walgreens or whatever. There's like government checkpoints with guys with guns, police officers, stopping you, asking for who you are, where you're going, and where do you live right now.
That's crazy.
Yeah, to make sure. And if you're not going somewhere essential, you can get arrested, fined, whatever.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
the government shutting down, let's just say like Dollar General, and they're saying, okay, the like pharmacy medicine section of Dollar, not true pharmacy, but the Band-Aid part
Yeah.
of farm, but all the other aisles are blocked off. So let's just say I have a hole in my socks or I needed some new underwear or
Yeah.
something like that. Nope, can't buy it.
Yeah.
The government says you can't buy it.
That's
You
insane.
are allowed to make a private arrangement by calling Dollar General and contacting them and having them in some way make a transaction over the phone and then have them bring something out to you, perhaps, but you're not allowed to go shop for tube socks or underwear or T-shirts. It's completely
insane.
bizarre. I mean,
How's Amazon doing up there?
Oh,
I'm
great.
sure they're doing
Oh,
great.
killing
I'm
it.
sure they're doing. I mean, like Jeff Bezos is so lucky.
Yeah.
He's so lucky. You know, because this came along and he just happened to be at the right place at the right time.
Yeah. Him and Bill Gates both
and
just
Bezos,
Hero.
lucky
and,
guys.
and Jack Dempsey and stuff.
Dorsey.
Jack Dempsey was
Dorsey.
a boxer.
Dorsey,
He was
yeah,
a boxer.
Dorsey.
Yeah. They just happened to be at the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It is amazing.
Absolutely amazing.
Fantastic.
Coincidental.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's
So
wild.
glad they're there though. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
Oh,
But
yeah.
Texas, we're chilling down here in Texas. I mean, you can go pretty much anywhere without a mask and nobody cares at all. It
Well,
seems.
Yeah. No, it's true.
Yeah.
And the diocese, the diocese of Austin that we're in, the bishop is now saying that the dispensation for the Sunday obligation of Mass is gone. I think in June sometime. I might have the date wrong, but essentially, yeah. Just to clarify too, a lot of people say, well, you no longer have a Sunday obligation. And for those non-Catholics listening, if you're a Catholic, you have an obligation to attend a Sunday Mass once a week. You have to attend Sunday Mass. And if you don't have a really good reason for missing it, like you're sick or you're taking care of somebody who is sick or something like that, it's a mortal sin.
Yeah.
It's a mortal sin because you're violating the first commandment and not giving to God what is due to God.
Yeah.
That I am the Lord your God, you shall have no God before me, that you're supposed to choose God first. And so a lot of people said, well, when COVID hit, then the Sunday obligation went away.
Yeah.
That's not technically true. You still have the Sunday obligation, and nobody can take that away because the obligation is to God.
Yeah.
But the bishops are allowed to what are called dispense you from the kind of the effects of missing it. All right. So if you have a dispensation, you can, even though missing Mass is still wrong, you don't bear any culpability for doing it. You're, if you will, allowed to miss Mass. And a lot of people would say, well, it's not the same as not having the obligation. Well, no, the obligation still exists without the bishop saying it, but you are in fact allowed to miss it, and that don't have any negative effects, consequences of doing it. And that's the way it's been, and it's still been that way. In other words, if you didn't want to go to Mass this Sunday because you were afraid of getting sick or you just didn't want to go to Mass, that's how broad the dispensation is. You could watch it on TV or not, and you'd be dispensed.
Wow.
The bishop has that power because remember, the apostles, whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven. Whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven. Bishops have the power to bind or loose, and they are loosing these areas. But now the Austin bishop, I think others may be following suit, are saying that dispensation is going away.
Yeah.
So now you can't watch Mass on TV anymore. You've got to get back in the
Butts
pews.
in the pews.
That butts. It was supposed to be a comedy. Yeah, that was a clapping, right? Butts in the pews, and if you're sick or something, then the normal rules apply. That it's you don't have.
Was that what, a year plus of that?
A year,
A little year and like a month. March is when it happened last year.
Yeah, it was March.
Yeah, so by
2 months.
June it'll be a
3
year and a
months?
couple months.
Wow.
So that's an indicator, though, that the bishops are saying there's no reason for you to miss Mass based on the disease.
Fear.
Or
It
the
feels
fear
like
of
we've
it.
been living in COVID for 10 years, but it also feels like 2020 was 5 days ago.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
If I may, though, we are in Texas,
Mhm.
I think, completely oblivious to
How
what-
bad it actually
what
is.
most people
Yeah.
around the world are feeling
Yeah.
and experiencing, even in the United States and other states.
California.
Because
especially.
because when you're thinking about the Alberta story and the checkpoints,
Mhm.
and we're now having even the bishops saying,
Oh, I have a story about this. Go ahead.
fear of a disease is not a good reason to stay home. That's a different environment.
Yeah.
And I don't care how cynical you are if you're saying, well, the offering plates are down and that's why they want you back in the seat. I don't even
Catholic Church has some money. Let's be real.
I don't even care if that's correct. The fact that they are saying the environment is such that people will kind of go along with that means that Texas is a much, much different.
Yeah.
Uh,
I feel like they always were though.
No,
To an extent,
Yeah.
compared to the other states and places. But,
That's-
But because of that, we feel like this is our normal thing, and like COVID's not that bad.
Yeah.
COVID sucks, and there's some restrictions, but it's not that bad. Our life is not really affected
No,
that much.
not really.
No, it
It
wasn't.
never really had. Other than like
In the
curbside
first couple
pickup,
things, yeah.
that wasn't even that
But
bad.
other people are
Yeah.
losing jobs, losing
Mhm.
businesses, not able to get to masks, not able to get their tube socks or their
Yeah.
underwear. This is all very, very real, and that's got to be a
Nightmare.
complete nightmare, but a Brave New World, Kafka-esque
Yeah.
That's true, yeah.
type of nightmare where the state has
Mhm.
clamped down and you don't have any individual freedoms, nor do you have any freedom of movement.
Yeah.
And so you are arrested
Yeah.
in your house where
That's
we,
martial
we,
law.
we can go wherever we want.
Yeah. Well, I was watching this video to talk to this point.
And by the way,
Yes.
we do have to get back to your other question about
Oh,
the
yeah,
young
yeah,
folks too. But go ahead.
Yesterday I was watching this video on YouTube or something, but it was these people at a gas station, and the National Guard showed up, full kit, body armor, M4s, everything, and they were blaring over the like Humvees. Like it's a crazy video to see.
And where was this?
I don't know. It's Arkansas, maybe. I don't
Okay,
remember.
okay.
But Arizona, I don't know. One of those states. They show up and guns drawn, lights drawn, everything up, screaming out of their loudspeakers. If anybody that's in here and in their cars, turn your cars off, come out, you're under arrest. And it was just because they were violating curfew. But it looked like they were getting Bin Laden. Like it was like fully kitted up.
It's like Red Dawn.
Looked like that. Imagine like Navy SEALs showing up at a gas
because
station. There's like Osama bin Laden's inside of the 7-Eleven, but it's just people going there to get gas at night, and they're all under arrest. It's a crazy. When you watch the video, you're like, whoa, what was? Did someone have like a nuke in the building? Like what was happening? It's
right.
Like, and I was reading the comments. I was like, I just looked this up. It's actually just because it was a curfew violation.
And you've got to
Wow.
the criminality with which
It's
you have
crazy to watch.
You've got to feel that you are, in some way, living in a world where you are constantly committing a crime.
Yeah,
And you're not really sure
Just
what
to
the
survive.
crimes are anymore.
yeah.
So it's not even like, oh, I know I'm going to violate this thing, but those damn, Red Dawn guys that came in, we're going to take them down.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what if I'm doing is legal or not.
Well, that's the problem.
That's a different world than we live in.
Yeah, and that's the big problem with this whole for the sake of public safety or for public health
Yeah.
notion that's being put out nowadays that anything's permissible as long as it's for the sake of the common good or
Right.
for public health. So like you can literally make anything illegal, anything could be demonized on the spot just because we need to keep people safe and safety first.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
we're
a
talking about the
problem.
first commandment. You shall have no other God beside me. And in some way, when you start to put anything else on in that place or in that spot, saying
Yeah.
everything else has to serve safety,
Mhm.
right? Everything
Yeah.
else has to serve public health, and everything is subservient to that. You get dangerously close to then making that a God
Yeah,
that you
definitely.
need to serve, and everything will flow then.
Uh-huh.
Human existence, morals, policies will flow from that being the most important thing.
Yeah, it's a problem. Everybody I work with, luckily, besides a couple people, are on the same page. This is absolute insanity. But then there's some people I work with that will go, I can't believe people are allowed to be back in churches without masks. This is insane. Like, they're going to
Yeah.
kill everybody.
Yeah.
This is wild. I'm like, are you?
There was one guy in Alaska who saw a picture of cattle ranch friend of mine.
Yeah.
And he was with his brother and his sister, and they were, in a 3-person kind of line of taking a picture, and
Yeah.
just embracing each other. And this person in Alaska said, "What you're committing a crime. You really are committing a crime, and you should be arrested. Because do you know what you're doing to the rest of us?
Yeah.
Being that close, and we are all going to die because of what you're doing." And there are people that live in that state of
Yeah.
fear,
Yeah.
and they
I know
truly
people
believe
like this.
they
yeah.
truly believe
Yeah.
that that I'm breathing the bad air
Yeah.
by being out here in my backyard, and I need a triple mask
Yeah.
because I might die.
Oh,
I
I
feel
see that, and it
really-
makes me cringe.
I
but
feel
yeah.
but I feel so sorry for
yeah.
them
Yeah.
because they're so afraid.
Yeah, they
They're
really
so
are.
afraid.
for no reason. At the
Yeah.
same time, there's just no truth behind.
It's a complete fantasy simulation.
Yeah.
Yeah, putting on 3 masks is not more effective than the first mask.
Yeah.
The first mask isn't effective at all.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I was even when
Well, it's not that
Texas.
it's not effective. Real quick, it's not even
Oh,
that
that's
it's not
fine.
effective. It's not a problem.
Right.
Like, and this whole idea, and this is the craziest thing I keep seeing getting thrown around, is that everybody that is in this like fear mongering state, like, well, when the vaccine comes, it's like the second coming of Christ. Like, we're all going to be saved as long as we all get vaccinated. Everything's going to be okay. And the people that aren't getting vaccinated,
Picked.
picked. They're the problem.
Yeah.
Which isn't how they work.
That's how
Like,
the news
not-
stories are rolling out. Saying
Yeah.
there's only a 41% compliance with people that are getting stuck,
Mhm.
and therefore we're never going to get to immunity.
Which is also insane because that's not how those work. We've been doing flu shots for decades, and it's still a
Yeah.
problem every single
Jack was
year.
saying there is no solution,
Yeah.
let's put it that way, to a corona type virus, right?
yeah,
There is no way of doing it.
that's what a lot of doctors.
Which the flu is
say
a
that.
coronavirus, is a
Yes,
type of
it's a
coronavirus. Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
the mRNA actually doesn't stop you from getting it.
No.
12,000 Israelis just showed positive after getting it. It just is supposed to stop you from having symptoms. But that means that you were just as contagious as you ever were.
Yeah, you're just
So
a
now that
carrier.
you feel like, oh, and they're saying, no, you
Protected.
still need to mask up and everything. I'm like, well, why are you putting stuff in my
Yeah.
body if I'm no better off
And
than I was
experimental
before?
DNA rewriting. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not that, but it's
Well,
not that far off. It's not that RNA rewriting. That information. That's
I'm pretty
going
sure
in my body.
rewrites part of your cells though.
No, it does. I just meant it's not specifically
I see what you're saying. I
DNA,
got you,
but it
yeah.
is. Yeah, it's rewriting RNA to combat
which is-
symptoms, but not actually.
Right,
Yeah.
to recognize it so that you
Which I don't
won't-
understand how people haven't flagged that down yet as concerning.
Yeah.
Of the whole, it's changing how your cells work and operate and how it's supposed to
Could it be
notice.
because
and
you're
fight
willing
the
to
virus.
offer anything up into
Yeah.
the altar of
Yeah,
public health and
the
public
Moloch.
safety?
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Is that possible that we're
Oh,
willing
yeah.
to do anything
for sure.
to?
People would be giving their firstborn child right now if they knew that they'd be saved from this.
Well, I mean,
Or saving others.
Yeah.
I mean, to that, that's
Yeah,
Is
kind of
that
literal.
it?
Yeah.
is that it? Is that the level again? Putting something on the God spot
Mhm.
of public safety is now creating reactions within us that are completely bizarre
Yeah.
and unnatural.
It is wild.
Yeah, that we're willing to become to endanger ourselves by becoming a almost a non-voluntary. It is
Yeah.
still voluntary, but it's not a protected clinical trial because for the sake of at least I'm going to be safe.
Yeah. Well, I was talking to somebody about, so I don't know if this is true, but at least from what I heard, that the pharmaceutical companies have almost complete immunity from any.
Complete.
Yeah. Okay. So complete. So he was right. So complete immunity from any repercussions or negative effects that it gives on anybody.
Correct, which would not normally be the case
Yeah.
in a typical clinical trial.
Yeah.
You are, by the way, by law,
Mm-hmm.
you are in a clinical trial if you're getting a pick right now.
Yeah.
Because what happens is the FDA legally expedited it, not for normal distribution and approval,
Mm-hmm.
but they expedited it because they allowed it to go out prior to the clinical trial.
Yeah.
But what's happening is people are gathering the data, and you are now part of the clinical trial if you're getting this.
Yeah.
And they're going to see what are the side effects and all that, but you don't have the protections that you normally would if you were in a clinical trial prior to FDA approval. So it's wrong to think that the FDA has approved this
Yeah.
for the purpose that it is. It's just that they expedited the release of it and allowed the clinical trials to happen after the release, where usually you'd have to do all the clinical trials before they would approve it. And they still have to approve it. So in other words, it's not FDA approved.
Mm-hmm.
It's an exception to that.
Yeah.
You're still in the clinical trials.
And also, a lot of these are getting imported, like China and other countries. So, like, a lot of us don't even know what.
You don't know what's in them. And then the thing that is a little bit concerning to me too, if you do agree that, hey, safety this is a war effort,
Mhm.
we're all in this together, guys. What's happening too is to protect the intellectual property rights, the IP rights of the people that own the blueprints to the pick,
Mm-hmm.
the pharmaceutical formulas and stuff. They're only allowing that to get to certain factories. And so there are factories. Bill Gates says it's not like there are factories that are just laying fallow, that if we would give this IP to people, they could start making them. That's not true. There are plenty of places that say, I have half a building ready to make this stuff, but I don't know how to make it because I haven't been given the intellectual property formulas, and I'm ready to make it. Well, we're ready to make more. This is all over the world. And, Gates is someone who will say, hey, this is, you guys just don't understand it. We had to put a lot of money, like from my foundation and some private money, in order to fund this and develop this. So the intellectual property rights are really, really important. But that's not really what we're dealing with here.
Yeah.
It's not like, again, there's
Give up your
non-operational
rights,
stuff.
everybody else,
And
but
we-
I'm not going to give up my IP rights too.
Not only that,
Yeah.
but look at actually where most of the picks in the world come from. They come from federal funding.
Oh,
From
really?
the NIH and from any
Wow.
other type of federal. The taxpayers are the ones that are funding that
Interesting.
for that. So don't give me this whole I made the investment thing. And so
Yeah.
therefore, anyway, it's just a little crazy. I got caught up
Asinine.
on that. So Tommy's right. There's just crazy other crazy stuff happening. And who elected Bill Gates?
No one.
Who elected Jeff
Yeah.
Bezos?
Yeah.
Who elected Jack
Dorsey.
Dorsey? They are not accountable to anybody.
Yeah.
They're accountable to 0 people.
Mm-hmm.
And their only motive is whatever is, I don't want to say profit in the money sense. It could be, but it's the increasing in their value of
Yeah.
what they value. So if I value more vanilla ice cream in the world and I have that type of power, I'm going to make sure there's more vanilla
Yeah.
ice cream because I value that, right? I might value being rich. I might value putting chalk in the air so the sun can't
Yeah.
raise candy.
Have
Whatever
you seen Snowpiercer?
but the more power I get, the more that I'm not accountable to anybody.
Yeah.
I don't have to answer to anybody. I don't have to answer to people or to elected officials, to an electing body or anything like that. Anyway, you had asked about, do I think that there are more vocations?
Yeah.
Can you
To
repeat the
monasteries. What?
Repeat
Oh,
the
I was
question?
asking if, in your personal experience or research, have you seen an uptick in vocations towards the monastic life among our generation?
Yeah. So
My generation, not yours. Yeah. Or compared to yours, I guess.
yeah. So there's a few things. Most monasteries will not accept guys that are older than 40. Maybe they make some exceptions to like 45 or something like that. But in general, the rule has always been, it's a tough life.
Yeah.
And if it's a life you're not used to living, the statistics just show that you're going to have a lot less success if you haven't been living it from an earlier life in your 20s or 30s. Okay. So that's the baseline. So almost by nature, any new vocations are going to be people in their 20s
Yeah, it's true.
and their early 30s.
Which makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So, however, so the question is there an increase in vocations? Because then they would, of course, be coming from your generation.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
And the answer is yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
There are a number of monasteries that are shutting down all over the world because they're dwindling.
I've seen those in Europe where they're giving up like 100-year-old sites.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's putting them
Well,
up for
what's
sale.
his name? Bannon bought that old Benedictine monastery. It was beautiful just because it's
Aw.
gone. There's a great documentary, I think it's on Prime, called The Island of the Monks, where this once thriving 136 monk Trappist monastery is down to 8 monks.
Wow.
And they can't maintain the grounds. And so they have to sell it and like move into like an apartment complex or something
Wow.
like that. I mean, and then all the emotions that go around that. It's a good documentary. And they're Dutch.
Mhm.
But so there are a number of them that are shutting down. And so they are going away. And yet there seems to be within, I want to say, American European, I guess Australia would be in there too, American European type of folk,
Mm-hmm.
an uptick in the traditionalist monasteries.
Interesting.
Mystic monk,
Gotcha. Yeah.
the Carmelite order of the monks that do the Mystic monk coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Uptick in vocations there.
Mhm.
Huge uptick in vocations. Clear Creek, they are literally bursting at the seams. They built all new dormitories and stuff. Like, well, we stayed out in in the old barn.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, they're bursting at the seams. And so, in general, what we're finding is that the traditionalist movement, even among the laity in your generation,
Yeah.
is exploding. What I mean by
Sorry.
that is the kind of Latin Mass going, or folks that are looking, if it's not the Tridentine Mass, are looking more at what's a richer and more traditional way of worshiping.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of reasons for that. Maybe we can do a
Yeah,
podcast.
I think
on
we
that.
should.
Because I think
Yeah.
there's a lot to say on that. However, other monasteries that have been around a lot longer are closing down. But they're not the ones that are holding to tradition. They're the
Interesting.
ones that did away with some of the prime. They modified and mitigated the rule of Benedict after Vatican II. And there's just a bunch of old guys who were hippies in the 60s and 70s that are still there.
Interesting.
St. Leo Abbey, which St. Leo University,
Yeah.
the Abbey's there, that has not been thriving at all. You know, and if you look at their orarium, like, you're supposed to be praying 8 times a day in the middle of the night, matins, and then 7 times. There's the hours that you go and pray. They do like morning and evening. That's it.
Wow.
They've modified it down. So the whole argument of, well, let's make it less strenuous and then more people will join.
Yeah, it's the
the
opposite.
exact opposite.
Which is happening in the whole church, really.
It is.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you think about it in the military too, what draws a Marine to become a Marine?
The hardness.
Yeah.
Right? You don't want to, you don't desire
Mm-hmm.
to be a Marine because it's going to be easy.
Yeah.
I remember Joe Hanley told me that once. He had scholarship, Navy scholarships, Army scholarships, Air Force scholarships to ROTC units. And the Marine recruiter came up to him, not an enlisted recruiter, but come join the Marine Corps option. He said, I'm not going to promise you anything because these guys are going to give you more things, but I'm going to promise you an experience like you've never had and you never will have anywhere else in your life in any other service. It's going to push you to your limits. It's going to test you, and you will know what you're made of at the end. And he's like, sign me up.
Yeah.
I mean, that's somebody who, so the people that are looking for that, in other words, that are looking for, what did St. Benedict write 1500 years ago? He wrote a rule that said this was the beginner's guide.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be less. It should be probably more. This is the beginner's guide. I want that. If I'm going to give my life to Christ, I'm a Marine. I'm all in. Whereas other generations were not necessarily saying, "Well, I'll give my life to Christ as long as it's easy." You guys weren't doing it.
Yeah.
But you have this resurgence in your generation of folks that are saying, "I want the richness. I want the meaning. I want the efficacy. I want the tradition." And it's not just tradition for tradition's sake, like it's pomp and flags and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, any Marine will know that they're not there for the trick drill team. That's all show, right? That's all for the public.
Yeah.
I'm there because something changes in my heart, in my spirit,
It
in
creates
my soul.
like a character,
Yes.
that you invest yourself into.
I want to be remolded for Christ.
Yeah.
Right.
I'd like to push back on that just a little bit, just because I think there is actually a little bit of it looking for culture.
Yeah.
Just because there is no culture anymore in America. I mean, there is no. I don't belong to anything as a person. Or I mean, back in the day, being an American meant something, or being whoever. There's a culture you could be a part of.
Yeah.
But in most of America and a lot of the world now, there really is no. There's no culture. There's no. I don't know. There's not really anything. It's just what's on Twitter today and what's on Twitter tomorrow.
Are you talking about the monastic call or the
Just
Marine
tradition
Corps?
altogether? Just look more for tradition and something that's rooted in reality. That this like ancient culture that's been around for a while that doesn't really exist anymore.
So I'm not sure what you're saying, but let me clarify what I'm
Go ahead.
saying. Out of those who are joining the church and being more active in the church, whether it's through monastics or vocations or lay people that are showing up with butts in their seat,
Yeah,
especially during COVID, it's the traditionalists.
that's what I mean. Yeah,
Yeah. And it's the people that I think are looking to belong to something.
This is
There's,
exactly what I'm
there's
saying,
okay, yeah. I thought you said push back. I wasn't sure if you.
Oh, I thought you were saying they weren't there for the culture, and I was saying that I think they are.
Oh no,
there.
no, they weren't there for the pomp.
Oh yeah,
No,
yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
here for the incense.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
okay, well, I have incense at this mass, but the other one doesn't have incense. But I want the one that has
Yeah.
the more gold.
They're not, yeah, we're on the same page.
Yeah,
yeah.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
they are there for something richer, and they realize that the St. John Cantius grandeur
Yeah.
is there because that is giving glory to God.
Yeah.
Because I want to be in a place where the whole place is about giving glory to God, even the architecture and the music and everything, all about giving glory to God. But it comes from a place not because I like the music.
Yeah. Yeah.
The music stems from the
Yes.
inner conversion.
Yes.
But look at today. Who's in front of you?
Yeah. People that were maybe like 25, 30.
Yeah, I think they
Yeah.
just got married.
Yeah, they
and,
look
you
like
know,
they did. Yeah.
And look people around you.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple old fogies that are there, but there are carloads
Yeah.
of people from Bryan College Station coming into Brenham now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not a bunch of old people that are holding on.
No.
You know, just like, oh, well, this is the only place I can get it still. It's all the young people that
Yeah.
are looking for it. Yeah.
In fact, the old people now are the ones that were the revolutionaries in the 60s and 70s going, we want,
Happy clap.
Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Yeah.
Talk about being stuck in a time period in your generation where you're like, oh, I can't wait to go to a mass and experience the 70s.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
The music's the 70s. The vestments are the 70s. The felt banners are the 70s. Everything's the 70s. Yay. I mean, the 70s are gone, man. They're out. Nobody wants to go back and
That is really true.
But if they're caught,
To the boomers.
they're caught. Well, it is.
Yeah.
It's a boomer generation.
Yeah.
But I think it happens to be a boomer generation.
Yeah.
It's not like it's their fault.
Well,
In fact,
no.
I would say it's the generation before because no
Fourth Reich. No, I'm just kidding. I'm
no
sorry.
baby boomer was at Vatican II Council.
Yeah, that's fair.
No baby
Yeah.
boomer was the pastor
Yeah,
at a
that's fair.
church
Yeah.
cutting down with a chainsaw the high altar
Yeah.
to put in some mural painting with a clown nose.
Yeah.
That was our older people than them. And the boomers were the ones that said, yes, because
Yeah.
everything else is changing. This should change
Yeah,
too.
burn it all
because-
down.
Well, burn it all down and bring everybody in, man. Because
Yeah.
it's just about love. It's just about not about rules. It's about
Yeah.
love, man. And I'm not making fun of anybody. I do think that people basically still think the same way.
Yeah.
I still think it's infiltrated our generation to where we talk about things like who marries who and all that with like, it's just about love.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's just, let me make as shallow as a pool as I possibly can. And that's all it'll be about.
Yeah.
Right? Like, well, wow, that's all your life is just that little shallow line. Huh?
I meet people like that.
Yeah. But it's easy, right? Because all I have to do is memorize a bumper sticker
Yeah.
worth of philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to examine myself or my thoughts
Yeah.
or go any deeper into my soul. So I
Or
think
like make those changes
Well-
in your own life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
that's even harder. What if I've made choices in my life in accordance with that bumper sticker, like that it's just about love, and I'm in an illegal, an illicit marriage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that mean if I understand now that if I admit that I'm in an illicit marriage,
What do I have to do about it?
that means I have to do something?
Yeah.
about it.
Right.
And that's too hard. So
Right.
I will choose the I'm not in an illicit
Yeah,
marriage option.
right.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
right.
Yes.
Oh, which church tells me that? Oh, Happy Clappy over there tells
Yeah.
me that.
Yeah.
Oh, that traditionalist though, they tell me that I'm in an illicit
Yeah.
marriage. They're so backwards, man.
Yeah.
They need to get up with the times.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was so medieval.
Yeah.
We hear this all the time.
No,
but it's-
yeah.
But it's just rationalization and
It is.
self-justification
It's a bunch of
Yeah.
mental
for
mental
living
gymnastics,
in
yeah.
sin.
It is.
And by the way, I'm not.
Easy
I'm
way out.
and I'm calling myself out on this too.
Mhm.
We all are sinners, and we all tend to want to take the easy way out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all do, and it's hard.
That's true.
It goes back to the Marine Corps thing, right?
Yeah.
It's a hard life to live
Yeah.
an examined life. It's hard.
Yeah.
Man, it is so hard to spend every waking moment from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed thinking about some version of this, giving some prayer to God, having your everything, constantly fighting to make
Yeah.
sure that the most important thing in the entire universe is God and trying to move everything toward that. That's rough.
Mhm.
There's no, well, can't I just sit around and binge watch something for a while?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not saying you can't binge watch something, but you've got to even fit that within the paradigm of how am I going to live my day
Yeah.
and what's right. Well, I don't want to think about that. What about self-care?
Yeah.
What about me?
Right.
What about me feeling good about myself? All that is, where's the fun?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And by the way, there's a tremendous amount of joy and fun when you do,
Yeah.
put on your Marine Corps pack and you do that hike and stuff like that, you're like,
Well,
yeah,
you
know
get,
what I mean?
You get accustomed to the discipline, if you will. If,
and you've accomplished something.
exactly
Right?
that adds value to your life.
Yeah.
I'd say there's probably actually more value in doing that than there is in the binge. It's just the binge
Right.
is easier, so you're willing to settle for the.
Contemporary.
and you'll get bored of the binge really quickly too, and
for
I
sure.
think that's why
Suicide rates are up.
There's no meaning.
yeah,
There's no meaning.
yeah, but just like the untraditionalist abbeys or monasteries are losing people,
Yeah.
it's because they go there like, oh yeah, this is fun until
Yeah.
it's not fun anymore, and then they
That's
leave.
true.
Yeah,
There's,
that
no,
is a
there,
good
and there-
point.
there's nothing to hold them in place.
That's right. That's a really good place. There's no anchors.
Yeah.
And anchors are made of really hard, heavy things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
They're not made of lightweight things that fluff up
Right.
in the air. They're meant to anchor you, and so it's hard.
To kind of go off what you just said in like an abstract way. I find it really interesting, and I think about this a lot. I've been thinking about this a lot lately. How metaphors work. Like, I mean, not to like, oh, we all know how metaphors work, but that they do work.
Yeah.
As a thing, just as kind of. I don't even know what I mean by this.
I do know what you mean.
But
So
I find-
if I,
Go ahead.
but by the way, sometimes it's what you draw out of the metaphor.
It's true.
For
yeah.
it to be a metaphor, I could have said, "And anchors are wet, man."
Yeah.
And you just got to get wet. You're like, "What?"
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. I had to,
Yeah.
draw something from the metaphor that made it a metaphor.
Yeah, it's true.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I find the interconnectedness of everything kind of interesting.
That is true.
Yeah.
But look, go to St. Thomas Aquinas when Father Albert is having a Latin Mass.
Mm-hmm.
Go around there and, mentally, or take a piece of paper or your iPad and guess the age of everybody that you see
Yeah.
and average that out. And I will bet you that it's somewhere in the upper 20s to lower 30s.
Yeah.
That's the future.
Yeah.
And that, by the way, those special masses that he has that aren't scheduled, packed.
Yeah.
They're packed. COVID packed, but they're packed.
It's also interesting when you go to a Novus Ordo, especially at St. Thomas, and you look at who's kneeling and receiving on the tongue.
Yes.
It's always the younger people.
Yes,
It's always like
that's true.
the 13-year-olds to like the 30-year-olds that
Yeah.
are. Yeah.
Well, the generation that would have possibly, where you would have seen the old man or old woman come up with their cane and strain to kneel down and reverently receive, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh man, that's so amazing. They're dead.
Yeah. It's true.
They're dead. You wouldn't have seen them. I would have seen some. I have seen some of those. That were really inspiring. I'm dead. The rest of them are just, no, that's what we do. Pop it in my mouth.
Yeah.
So all that's left is your generation.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so good to see that what I find really fascinating and promising, and even confirming that I'm on the right path in my belief system,
Mm-hmm.
is that you've never experienced a Latin Mass before.
Yeah.
By the way, I'd never had either, but your grandparents did. They grew up with it. You don't have any baggage that you're taking into it to judge it by, your experience
Like
in the
nostalgia
60s.
or something like that.
Well, whether it be nostalgia or just the way people talked about, that's so old fashioned.
Oh, gotcha,
That's what
yeah.
we used to do in the 50s or
Yeah.
something like that. In fact, you are going in there saying, I don't know anything about this,
I don't even understand what they're saying.
but I just experienced that, and I need to come back here.
Mm-hmm.
I just found truth.
Yeah.
Explain why you found truth, Jack. Why you found truth, Will. I can't.
Mm-hmm.
I just know I found truth. I don't know if I found like the level of truth I found, but there's something about this that is meaningful, and I can't quite unwrap it on my own. I might have to talk to somebody
Yeah.
about it or watch something. But the big tent approach to let's bring in everybody and we're all clapping and stuff like that. I know there are some evangelicals that go, I went there and I felt really good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anybody that's ever gone to a Catholic Novus Ordo with the happy clappies and go, oh man, that brought me so closer to God. Can I be a
Yeah.
Catholic?
Yeah.
Can I be a Catholic?
It's
This is
true.
awesome.
Yeah.
I know plenty of people that have had conversions in Latin masses
Mm-hmm.
that say there's something here that I have to investigate. And that
Yeah.
becomes then a deep dive into, and then we're continuing to learn, right?
I think you're right. And anecdotally, whenever I think about asking people to go to mass with me, or I'm talking about mass, I'm always like, I don't want to take them to Novus Ordo because
No.
that's going to make them not want to become a Catholic.
Right.
But as soon as you see or experience the Latin Mass, you're going to understand what this is all about a lot more, just viscerally.
Yep. Or you're not.
Yeah.
In other words,
Yeah.
you're going to be called or you won't.
Yeah.
But that's better than the lukewarmness of the Novus Order, where there's no calling at all.
Yeah.
there's just I'm kind of here and it's over,
Mhm.
and
What was
I got
that?
something at the end, and they handed out some cookies.
Mm-hmm.
You know, oh, it's Jesus. I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
got the bread, and it tastes better.
Yeah.
I got the better tasting bread. Remember
Yeah.
that one bread?
No. What?
But you were looking at it on that one magazine. You were like,
Oh,
"Oh,
yeah.
wafers taste better."
Yeah.
But think about this: if anybody comes out of a mass and goes, "I didn't get anything out of that mass,"
Mm-hmm.
thank God. Thank God you didn't get anything out of the mass, because it's not about you.
Yeah.
Did God get what was right and just for him to get in that mass? Oh, I see. It's not. I thought since the priest was facing me
Yeah.
and doing this to me, that it was a show, and I was supposed to get something out of this. That I have a better week because of it, or I feel closer to God because of it. I feel. No, it's not about you. Now those prayers are for you,
Mm-hmm.
and they're supposed to be efficacious for your growth, but it's not about you.
Yeah.
It's about what is right and just to God. And he's the one that needs to get, if you will, something out of it
Yeah.
in a different meaning, of course. But if you get nothing out of the mass, good.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
it's not about you.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe those people who do go and they're like, I didn't get anything out of that, they probably felt uncomfortable at some point. As far as I had to kneel literally 75% of the
right.
low
Heard
mass,
people
you
say
know,
that.
Or the homily didn't make any sense to me,
Yeah.
or the mic was low, so I didn't really understand. And he's Polish, so I didn't really understand his accent. So I didn't get anything out of the mass.
and again, correct me if I'm wrong. God is love, but the world we live in requires suffering, and we gain things through suffering and those disciplines, and that's what creates the value in some of the mass.
So
I could be wrong. That could just be my.
Let me do just a little bit of a tweak on
please,
that.
yeah,
Is that the world doesn't require suffering. The love is sacrifice, because love is a complete giving of oneself out. You pour yourself out for another, for the good of another, and you will the good of the other. That's love.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're in a fallen state, suffering is just a byproduct that we have to. It's just a part of life.
Yeah.
But by God becoming man and immersing himself in the suffering that we had caused by our own fall, because God experienced it, he made it holy.
Yeah.
As soon as God touches anything, think of it that way, right?
Yeah.
If he touches death, death is now gone. It's no longer a bad thing,
yeah,
right? I've reversed it, right? A suffering, I've reversed it. But we have to participate in that. And if we choose not to participate in what he has changed, that's where you have value in suffering, right?
mm-hmm.
That through death there's life now,
Right.
right? If you don't participate in it, you don't cooperate with it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why he wrote the rules this way, but that's how he wants it.
Yeah.
He wants you, because of your free will, obviously,
Yeah.
to choose to come along for the ride, not have him dragging you, kicking and
Yeah.
screaming. So because there's suffering in the world and God has sanctified the suffering can now not just no longer be bad or less bad. It can be saving.
Right.
Yeah.
It can be the highest good.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And this is what people don't understand. How is suffering good? Okay, well, I've got to sit down with you for a while and explain this
Yeah,
to you. You know, that it's not a bumper sticker.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy, were you going to say something?
Oh yeah, I was gonna go back to not participating
Yeah,
of people saying like, oh, he died on the cross, so we're good now. Like, we
right.
can say,
That's
yeah,
true.
It's all good now.
Right. I don't need to do anything else.
Exactly.
I just need to sit back and I'll take the gift. Thank you very much. Or I won't even think of it as a gift. It's just the way it is now. Like, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And we need to participate. That's very, very true. And that's what, even when Our Lady says, if you make the first 5 Saturdays devotion, and I will give you all the graces that are necessary for your salvation at death. And it was like, great, free pass to heaven. No, she's going to give you the graces. She's promised. She doesn't go back on her word. But you've got to be ready and prepared to participate in those graces.
Yeah.
Right?
That is a big misconception, is the participation in grace, which is, I think, one of the biggest theological differences between a lot of Protestants and
Yeah.
Catholicism is the
'Cause I think it's
participation of grace.
it's saved through works. Well, first
Yeah.
of all, read James. But we're not even talking about that. You've got to participate. St. Augustine once said, God who created you without your permission will not save you without your participation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I've heard this personally to me, twisted in the idea that it's like, oh, Catholics don't believe God gets them to heaven; they believe they get themselves to heaven. It's like that's not at all
opposite.
what we mean. That's not even close to what we mean. I've heard that to my face, and I'm like, it's just completely wrong.
I feel like what you're saying though, with the whole understanding the suffering, getting there is completely, because it also ties back into what you're saying about wanting all of it or none of it.
Yeah.
When it comes to people participating in the mass and stuff,
Yeah,
like if you
right.
get all of that, then you want all of that. You go back to the
Right,
more
that's
traditional
true.
sense and everything, because that's all that
Where
it's there.
where that is
But then-
outlined in a way that makes sense to me.
Yeah,
It talks
and
about
yeah,
it,
but then
right.
if you're kind of that halvesy or in between of whether it's the make it easier so everybody gets in, then it's the people you get in. It's like, well, this is like it doesn't make sense to them, or
That's a great point, Mike. So if I'm someone who's come to his own realization through the grace of God that suffering has been sanctified, and I can either let suffering happen to me and it can be meaningless,
Mhm.
or I can participate in the suffering in a way that will then make it salvific for myself and others. Don't I then want to go to a place that's going to tell me more about how to do that?
Yeah.
Like once I've
Yeah.
accepted that, if I go to a place that goes, oh, no, suffering's bad. Forget about the suffering. Let's have a happy song.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're like, no, I
Lies.
can't.
Yeah,
that's
I can't.
Not even lies, but not even lies. But let's just say
It's not full truth.
it's just like, wait, that's not why I'm here.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because you're supposed to be the shepherd that leads me to the way of salvation.
Mm-hmm.
Because you represent Christ himself and he is the good shepherd. And you're supposed to shepherd me. I'm your sheep. And I'm a sheep saying, I'm willing to follow. And I want to know about this suffering, meaning salvation thing. And this isn't just one thing with suffering. Right?
Yeah.
There's many other things we can talk about. And they go, let's not talk about that. You're like,
Yeah. That's why I'm here.
I don't want to be a part of this flock.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a part of this flock. Where is the flock? Oh, what are the Orthodox doing over there?
Yeah.
They say exactly the same things. They have a kind of a weird language, but you know what? At least they're going to talk about how I'm going to get to heaven and help my kids get to heaven and my wife get to heaven, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and have this beautiful, full life after what everybody thinks is going to be the end
Yeah.
through what I'm suffering through now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So then you end up rejecting the easy way because, and I think we probably make a lot of mistakes here, or I do, to say, well, then I don't want to go because what if there are lies there?
Yeah.
What if they're not even meant as lies, but the way it's told is not telling the full truth and therefore can lead somebody down the path of a
Deception or whatever.
the same effect as
Yeah.
a full deception, right?
Mhm.
The same. You're still just as skewed from the path
Mhm.
as if you were fully deceived.
Yeah.
And there's only one person who deceives. He's the father of all deception. And so then you wonder, like, well, wait a second, why is my church leading people down the path that's more toward deception than to truth?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's easier. What, easier in this life?
Yeah.
That's not the purpose of the church.
Yeah.
The purpose of the church is not to make this world heaven on earth.
Mm-hmm.
However, you get people like Pope Paul VI in 1965 who said, and the church is finally ready to create man's paradise on earth and
Oh, I
participate
didn't know
in
you
it.
said that. Wow.
You know, so there are things like that that are incredibly confusing.
Yeah.
A Pope said that. I thought the Pope was a good guy.
Yeah,
You're a
we're not
Catholic.
Freemasons.
You know,
Yeah.
you know? So it's so confusing.
Mm-hmm.
And the confusion is from the evil one too. And there's so much confusion within the church. I always admire people like Hannah who actually want to become Catholic,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that there's so much confusion. In other words, she's willing to accept the confusion because she can see the truth
Mm-hmm.
in spite of the confusion. I think
Yeah.
that's really admirable.
I agree. It's also a hard sell nowadays, especially as somebody likes to evangelize. It's a hard sell to be like, okay, I know everything looks like it's just on
Yeah,
fire,
right,
but I
right,
promise you,
right.
it's the place you want to be.
Yeah.
It's a hard sell.
Yeah, Portland, Oregon, man.
Yeah.
It is the future. It's going to be
Yeah.
so great. Really, it's all burning down right now.
Yeah.
No, really, Portland's great.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I think that kind of back to the Marine Corps analogy is that what's the draw, and this is just my draw. This I could be just seeing this from one perspective, but just like anyone wants to be in the Marine Corps, I love being a Catholic
Right.
because there's this character building around suffering, and to me there's a draw there, and it's
Right.
And it's not the draw of like, of bubbly feelings
Right,
that I feel.
right.
It's a different feeling I get, and it's the same feeling, and when you go to say an hour adoration,
Right.
and 35 minutes in, you're like, I kind of want to leave.
Right.
You know.
I'm glad you said that out loud. Because we're all thinking.
Yeah.
Like,
Is
is it over yet? Oh my
every
gosh. Oh.
every rosary,
falls-
almost every rosary I say, and I say,
Okay, I'm glad
I
I'm not
say
doing
it.
one.
Yeah, I'm not,
At least one.
Yeah.
Yeah, by the third decade, you're like, oh,
Or the second decade, you're not even halfway. Come on.
Like, is that good enough for
ahead,
tonight,
Jack.
too?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. That's pumping that iron.
That's a good point.
That's
That's a good point.
that's the callousing. That's the strength. And
it's
then
not supposed to be easy.
when you finish that fifth decade,
Yeah.
and it's like you feel good, and it's like this reverse like thing of like where you think the feeling good is about worship and praise.
Right.
With you in like I say, a Protestant way, and like the music made me feel alive or
Don't
Yeah,
something.
pump me
the
up.
high of the
Yeah.
mass, or not
Right.
the mass,
The
but
temporary, this worldly high.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And when I do an extensive prayer session, I guess, but
Yeah, yeah.
when
Prayer-a-thon.
I actually
You've gone 2 or 3 days on a completely dry fast, so
I have. Yeah. There was a point too. I was trying to say all 4 rosaries a day.
Right.
But like, why would someone want to do that? Because and I, in my experience, I get this joy afterwards.
Right.
That's like this. I didn't quit.
It's like
and
the gym rat mentality, kind of like.
yeah,
working hard
yeah,
at it.
yeah. But I think it's a truth, and I think
Oh, yeah, you're
you know what I mean. Like the analogy would be, and this is true scientifically, how you build muscles, you break down the muscle and it builds back bigger.
Right.
It can be said the same thing is you pray and it creates this callus of resistance because you want to quit or you want to stop, and you overcome that, and then it gives you this joy. It gives you this good feeling, and even if you're sore, it's like
Yeah.
it's like
Good sword.
it was good, And
So can I follow that up?
yeah,
Okay.
please.
So we're obviously taking a physical analogy of feeling good,
Mm-hmm.
but we're talking about a spiritual reality, right?
Yeah.
We're not talking about I feel really happy and I mean
Now,
so-
actually, go ahead, finish.
so I'm going to continue that analogy, and it might stumble a little bit, but there is a point in working out where, let's say in the beginning, I'm getting the burn, the muscles, but there is a point in your daily workouts where you're not feeling that anymore.
Yeah.
Intellectually, working out is good for me,
Mhm.
and I'm going to gain, but there's no feeling left. There's not even a physical feeling of a high or a soreness or anything like that. You're just going through the motions. And prayer life is like that. Many, 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 many saints have talked about this. Alphonsus Liguori probably has said it the best, though, that when you go through spiritual dryness and when you are praying that 4th rosary and you don't get any joy, you don't get any sense of completion, you don't get any sense of being closer to God, that's the prayer that God appreciates the most. Because you did it because you didn't get anything out of it.
Mm-hmm.
You truly gave of yourself without any expectation of being refilled back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
And that's love.
yes,
and
you're doing it because you love God.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the church is a lot like a relationship.
Mm.
I mean, it's supposed to be this relationship.
I think it is. The whole thing is.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And that threw me off for a second.
Oh,
sorry. No, because it is a relationship, and you have so someone once told me you can make all these prayers where it's like, God, can I have
Right.
I think I heard I think I know where I heard this, but God, grant me, can I have this chair that I want?
Right,
can
right.
I have this dinner? Can I,
Wish list.
this wish list? Or like, God, you're so great and all this stuff, And then there's like, if you were to really list those things that you would want to say to God, like say God was here right now,
Yeah.
and you could talk to him, and he's going to listen to you. And you're like, at first you're like, oh God, you're great. You're in all your glory. I love you so much.
Right.
And then, well, that's like maybe takes 15 seconds to say, you know,
And then what?
you know,
Yeah,
and then what? And then he's like, and God gives us a gift of here, you can speak and be with me
Right.
for hours.
Right.
You can be with me your entire life. You can be with me this all the time. And that's what these prayers are. And correct me if I'm wrong, but these prayers are a way for us to participate in a relationship with with God and all the saints, and we get to participate in this invisible world through prayer.
Yes.
And it's the whole thing's a relationship, and
Yes.
we get to give ourselves through saying a Hail Mary 100 times. And we get to go through things while we do that, and it creates this relationship. And correct me if I'm wrong.
So I will not correct you if you're wrong.
This is just my perspective.
Well, let me bolster you.
Okay.
There are great saints and doctors of the church, including Saint Teresa of Avila, who have written extensively about this and said everything you're talking about with the verbal prayers and everything like that. Everything's absolutely everything you said is correct. Okay.
Okay.
And that's stage 1.
Yeah.
And there are 7.
Yeah, the interior castle.
Oh, it's
The
also
interior castle, the interior mentioned.
I'm not aware of all those.
So you
but,
should read it. She's a Carmelite nun, St. John of the Cross's contemporary. And she had insights, though, how do you get through these 7 stages of the spiritual path? And verbal prayer, even at the height of verbal prayer and the relationship with God verbally, is step 1. You're only on the first stone, first level, and there's 7 levels. And and even mental prayer, which is meditation and not having to use any verbal, that's only step 2. And so, most of us never get to step 2.
Wow.
We never get, or we try to enter into step 2 every once in a while, but then because of that, I have a hard time ever imagining what step 3 is. I mean, I can read about it.
Right.
I don't know what that
feels like.
experience is like.
Yeah, which is also why I think it's so hard for people looking in to actually jump in. You talk about people like a far,
Yeah.
or even if like the whole thing we kind of just talked about. If you're even deep down, you're living a sad, depressing life. You want stuff to pleasure you in the moment. You want to feel good about yourself.
Yeah, you want
whether
that
you
dopamine
mean
hit.
to or not. It's all self-centered. I'm feeling down. I want to feel happy. I'm gonna do this. I don't want to go somewhere or do something that's gonna make me feel less of myself or break myself down further for something else, or for the greater good of God or whatever. But it's, even with prayer, like I should feel happy going to church, or it's about me.
I want to build myself
Thing, but instead
up,
of I
wanna
put
die.
myself down, which then makes me better.
Right.
Which is more kind of the Marine Corps thing or the workout thing of I want to feel worse, so then later I'll feel better.
Yeah. And
Which isn't actually feeling worse, but I think you get where I'm coming at with
I
this.
do. It's hard with language.
Yeah.
It's hard with language to do it. And, the feeling side, a lot of people will say, as long as I get that high from lifting or the pump or something like that, spiritually, I'm good. But that's spiritual candy. Those are called spiritual condolences, or they're condolences that you get saying, I feel really good after that rosary.
Yeah.
So it gets you to, it's like a dopamine hit.
Yeah.
It gets me to the next rosary, right?
Right.
But really soon, God's going to take that away after a certain while to say, but do you love me enough to pray
When
even
you
at
don't
level
feel it,
1,
yeah.
Right.
even though you get nothing out of it?
Yeah.
Right.
And that's still level 1. And it's like Mike said, but I don't feel good. So therefore I shouldn't be doing this. I don't get anything out of it. And we're still on level 1, by the way. This is not getting any higher in the spiritual path.
I think it's
But this is why people go to the monastery, to spend their entire life, because that's how long it takes
Right.
to hopefully get as high as you can. And you need to really be surrounded by people that are supporting you on the path. You are alone together. A monk is someone who is alone together. I'm doing all of this, and because we're together, you're actually helping me get there. Even if you're annoying me, well, I have to learn how to exist by being annoyed.
Right.
It's a large family, really, right?
Yeah.
How do I control my anger?
Yeah.
Right? These are things that we try to do on the spiritual path. But this is why also going to a monastery at 50, maybe even if you could do the regimen, it might not be really efficacious for everybody else who's there because of where you are and stuff like that. There's a whole bunch of different there's a whole bunch of I don't want to say you're ever too old to start, but it might be sometimes too late to start in the same way of spending 70 years to 100 years on this project.
Yeah.
You know, you might be starting at a different point. And, you know, we all know that if you show up at the last hour, you get paid the same wages as you do if you show up in the beginning of the day.
Right.
But getting to that 7th level of the castle, it takes a lifetime.
Yeah.
Unless you have an incredibly special grace.
Right. Yeah.
Which most of us do.
Yeah.
See, I think it's interesting that our entire society has kind of been structured in a way that is the exact opposite of what we're talking about right now.
Yes.
That's more what I
Which
was.
is the perfect. I know it is.
Yeah.
That's what made me think
Yes.
about it. Which is the perfect, ploy by Satan is to
That's why he's the prince of this
yeah,
world.
exactly.
He's
How can
his world.
especially in today's day and age, how can I build basically the anti-Christian life and make that the most popular life, so that the Christian life seems even more unappealing to me?
Yes.
Like it's
Yeah, how can I actually go inverted on the 7
Exactly.
levels up,
7
keep you
levels
at
down.
0, but I'm actually going to have you to hurt people
Yeah.
for the sake of
Yeah.
you feeling better,
Mhm.
right?
And
notice,
people are willing to do it nowadays.
and notice that these are pretty much sensory consolations.
Yeah.
I feel better. My stomach is full. My muscles feel better. I have greater sense of security because I have all this money in my pocket, right? These are all very transitory things, right? And they're in the moment, like now. So I mean, it's a great win for Satan when you're willing to give up eternity with God for one moment with him.
Yeah.
You know, and the fathers say that there's a kind of a bumper sticker for Satan and the demons, which is anything but God.
Yeah.
I will even have you sit and worry about where you are on the spiritual path, because that way you're thinking about yourself.
Yeah.
You're not thinking about God.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, by the way, when you get to the highest levels, you're gone.
Yeah.
It's not an annihilation like Buddhism, but you are now. It's all about God, and it's all about that relationship that you're having with God in the presence of God. You're not saying anything. You're not even thinking anything.
Yeah.
You just are with him.
Yeah.
And I think, maybe the Blessed Mother is the only one that's ever hit level 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That type of thing.
Yeah.
But read The Interior Castle by Teresa of Avila.
Okay.
The Interior Castle. We
Okay.
might have a copy of it here. If not, definitely buy it.
Okay. Yeah.
It is a foundational roadmap
Okay.
for
Okay.
with it.
Yeah.
If you wanted to start, listen to a conference by who are those Franciscans that were the Blue Habits, the FIs, the Francis,
The light gray.
they're kind
The
of light gray,
Franciscan-
bluish.
The Friars of the Renewal.
No,
Oh.
it might be. It's
I
like
don't know.
FI, Franciscans of the Immaculate. or
Oh,
something
that's
like
something
that.
else. Yeah.
And they got busted down for doing too many traditional masses and things like that.
Oh, really?
Doing things in Latin, and they're not allowed to do it anymore.
Wow.
But they have this whole conference on the 7 stages, and it's an hour for each one
Cool.
on YouTube or something like
That sounds cool. Yeah.
You guys mind if we
Absolutely.
wrap up soon? I'm ready to shower.
that. Oh man, you haven't. No wonder you wanted to do outside, because you haven't showered yet.
Oh no. It's actually because we're outside. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a humid day.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could definitely wrap up.
Cool.
You wanted to hit that question.
Mhm.
We wanted to tell everybody about where we've been and why we've been away for so long. But in some ways, we're still not homeless, but studioless, because we're doing
Yes.
this outside and we don't have a committed place. But if this audio works out well enough, and we can get more lights and get the video going, we'll and please leave comments and tell us. Is it okay if we, even if the sound suffers a little bit, do you want to hear us talking to each other, talking about this stuff? Because we'll go out. Will built a campfire, a whole fire pit out in the back,
Okay.
an acre away. We can go around the campfire with mics
That'd be
and
cool.
talk or something. So
That'd be really cool.
if you're interested in that, let us know, because we're willing to do it. Otherwise we'll continue to put content out and try to get more into a studio space the more we can. I don't know, maybe we could.
A shed.
I was going to say the
Yeah.
shed, or maybe that tool room or something.
Honestly, that's not a bad idea.
because there's
I didn't
it's
think
climate,
about
it's
that.
climate controlled in there too.
That's actually really not a bad
Yeah, We
idea.
have to clean it all out.
Yeah.
Anyway, so any final thoughts? Anybody?
Yeah, it was a good
No,
talk.
no.
It's good to be back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
It's fun.
Tommy, thank you for being on the board. You did a great
Thank you,
job.
Tommy.
Fantastic, especially fighting all of this wind and ambient noise of animals and helicopters and
Yeah.
lawnmowers and stuff. But thanks for listening to the Man Hire Show. I'm Dad,
Jack.
Well.
And Mike.
Tommy on the board, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
See ya.